My child, start preparing. What you have called permanent was never meant to be your final destination. Pack your bags. Heaven is calling you forward. Before you scroll away, before you dismiss these words as another message among many, listen carefully. Something in your spirit brought you here. Something made your eyes stop on this exact title. And I want you to know that this moment was not arranged by chance. You did not stumble into these words accidentally. I have been drawing your attention because you have been standing at the edge of a transition, and now I am calling you to recognize it. For a long time, you have felt stuck between where you were and where you believe you should be. You have prayed. You have waited. You have endured seasons that seemed to stretch far beyond what you thought you could bear. There were moments when you wondered if your life would ever change. Moments when the same battles, the same disappointments, and the same unanswered questions felt like walls surrounding your future. But beloved, I need you to understand something. A traveler does not pack because they are staying. A traveler packs because a journey is approaching. And deep within your heart, you have sensed that something is shifting. You may not have had the words for it. You may have only felt it as a restlessness you could not explain. A growing awareness that what once satisfied you no longer does. A quiet feeling that the chapter you have been living cannot continue forever. That feeling was not your imagination. It was my spirit preparing you for movement. I see the hidden weariness you carry. I see the tears you never showed anyone. I see the prayers whispered in the darkness when no answer seemed to come. I see the hopes you nearly buried because disappointment had become too familiar. And I have not ignored any of it. While you thought nothing was happening, I was preparing roads you could not see. While you focused on closed doors, I was arranging new ones beyond the horizon. While you questioned the delays, I was making certain that when the time arrived, you would be ready for what was ahead. That is why you must not rush past this message. If you leave now, you may miss the very confirmation you have been asking me for. You may miss the understanding that explains why certain things had to end. You may miss the courage needed to release what has become comfortable but no longer belongs in your future. But if you stay, your heart may begin to recognize the signs I have been placing before you. Your spirit may awaken to possibilities you stopped believing in. The burden of uncertainty may begin to lift as you realize that you are not being abandoned, you are being led. My child, when I say, pack your bags, I am not speaking about fear. I am speaking about faith. I am speaking about preparation. I am speaking about letting go of what cannot follow you into the next season I have prepared. There is a reason heaven is calling you forward. There is a reason your spirit feels this pull. And as we continue, I will reveal what you must leave behind, what I have already prepared ahead of you, and why this call forward may be the answer to prayers you thought I had forgotten. I know how long you have been standing in the same place emotionally, while pretending to everyone around you that you are still moving forward. I have watched you wake up carrying the same thoughts, the same heaviness, the same quiet exhaustion that follows you into every day. There have been moments when you smiled simply because you did not want anyone to ask questions you did not have the strength to answer. You kept telling yourself that eventually things would shift. Eventually the confusion would settle. Eventually your heart would feel alive again. But deep inside, you have sensed for a long time that something in your life can no longer remain the way it has been. You feel it in the quiet moments when the noise fades and your thoughts become honest. You feel it when certain places no longer comfort you the way they once did. You feel it when old routines begin to feel empty instead of safe. That feeling is not your imagination. It is me gently awakening you to the truth that the season you have been living in is ending. I am not speaking this to frighten you. I am speaking because I love you too much to let you settle into a life that is smaller than the one I created for you. There are parts of your heart that have been asleep for too long. You learned how to survive disappointment, how to carry pain quietly, how to adapt to loneliness without admitting how deeply it affected you. Over time, survival became normal to you. You stopped expecting joy to stay. You stopped believing peace could become steady. You even began preparing yourself emotionally for loss before anything had the chance to grow. But I never intended for your life to become a constant state of emotional defense. I did not create you just to endure life. I created you to experience closeness with me, to walk in peace, to feel purpose breathing through your days again. That is why I am asking you now to prepare your heart for movement. Pack your bags, not in fear but in faith. There are things you cannot carry into your next season because they belong to versions of you that are no longer meant to lead your life. Some of the thoughts you entertain have become too heavy for your spirit. Some wounds you continue revisiting are keeping you emotionally tied to moments I already asked you to release. I know letting go feels difficult because pain can become strangely familiar. Even suffering can feel safer than uncertainty when you have lived with it long enough. But staying emotionally trapped in old places will slowly convince you that nothing greater exists ahead of you. And that is not truth. You keep asking me for clarity while holding tightly to things that cloud your vision. You ask for peace while continuing to feed fear. You ask me to lead you forward while your heart keeps turning backward to mourn seasons that already ended. My child, I need you to understand something gently but honestly. There are beautiful things waiting ahead of you, but you will not recognize them if your soul remains attached to everything behind you. The future I am leading you toward requires room in your heart. It requires trust. It requires your willingness to believe that your story did not end in the places where you were hurt. I know you are tired. I know change feels intimidating when you have already been through so much. But you are not walking into the unknown alone. I will not ask you to move forward and then abandon you halfway through the journey. I have already gone ahead of you. Even now, while you are still trying to understand what is changing inside you, I am preparing places your feet have not reached yet. The road ahead may stretch you, but it will also heal parts of you that have quietly carried pain for years. You do not need to force everything at once. Just stop resisting the invitation to move. Stop convincing yourself that staying emotionally stuck is safer than trusting me. Your life is not over, my beloved. The journey is changing, and deep within your spirit, you already know it is time. My child, I need you to stop for a moment and look honestly at what your heart has been carrying. You have spent so much time adapting to pain that you almost forgot what freedom feels like. You learned how to function while exhausted. You learned how to smile while feeling empty inside. You became skilled at surviving difficult seasons, but somewhere along the way, survival quietly became the ceiling of your expectations. I never wanted that for you. I never formed your spirit just so you could drag yourself through life feeling emotionally trapped in places that no longer nourish your soul. You were not created to remain stuck between fear and familiarity while your deeper purpose waits untouched inside you. I know why you hesitate to move forward. Staying where you are feels predictable. Even pain can feel manageable once you understand its patterns. You know how to prepare yourself for disappointment now. You know how to protect your heart before people get too close. You know how to lower your expectations so life hurts less when things fall apart. But listen to me carefully, because I say this with tenderness. The walls you built to protect yourself are now preventing you from receiving the peace you keep praying for. You cannot keep asking me for a new season while clinging tightly to the mindset that was formed in your old one. There are moments when you feel restless and cannot explain why. Certain conversations drain you now. Certain environments leave your spirit tired instead of comforted. Things that once distracted you no longer satisfy you the same way. Do not ignore that stirring inside you. That discomfort is not random. I am showing you that your soul has outgrown places your fear still wants to stay attached to. You keep trying to revisit old emotional rooms hoping they will suddenly feel different, but they cannot hold the person you are becoming. Stop returning to spaces where your spirit shrinks. Stop convincing yourself that settling is wisdom. Stop delaying your healing because change feels uncertain. Come closer to me now and let me guide you gently out of this emotional paralysis. Put down the constant pressure to have every detail figured out before you take one step forward. You keep demanding certainty from yourself that even faith was never meant to provide. I am not asking you to know everything ahead of time. I am asking you to trust me enough to stop building your life around fear. Release the belief that your future will automatically repeat your past. That fear has followed you long enough. Tell your heart to breathe again. Open your hands. Loosen your grip on the pain you secretly expect to happen again. My beloved, I am calling you forward because there is more waiting for you than this cycle of emotional exhaustion. There are still parts of your life that will surprise you with joy. There are people you have not met yet who will speak life instead of confusion into your heart. There are peaceful mornings ahead that will not begin with dread sitting heavy on your chest. But you must stop planting your roots in places where I already told you to move. Stand up emotionally. Stop agreeing with hopelessness. Pack your bags spiritually and mentally. Leave behind the version of yourself that believes nothing better could happen. You are not trapped forever, and deep inside, you already know it is time to move. My child, there were many nights when you sat quietly wondering why things were taking so long. You watched opportunities disappear. You watched prayers remain unanswered month after month while your heart grew tired from hoping. At times you smiled in front of people while secretly questioning whether I had forgotten you completely. I saw every moment of that struggle. I heard the disappointment hidden behind your prayers when you asked me why doors kept closing in front of you. You tried to stay faithful, but deep inside you wrestled with thoughts you barely admitted out loud. You wondered if maybe you had failed too many times. Maybe you were not worthy of the things you were asking for. Maybe everyone else was being chosen while you remained unseen. But I need you to hear me clearly now. The delay was never proof that I rejected you. There were things happening beyond what your eyes could understand. Some doors stayed closed because the environments behind them would have wounded you more deeply than you realized. Some relationships did not last because they were connected to versions of you that could not sustain your future. I know you interpreted the waiting as punishment sometimes. I know you questioned your value when life slowed down around you. Yet even while you felt forgotten, I was protecting you from situations your heart was not ready to carry. What you called delay was often mercy moving quietly in directions you could not yet see. I want you to stop measuring your worth by timing. Stop assuming that because something has not happened yet, it never will. You are not behind in the way fear keeps telling you. Your life is not ruined because certain prayers took longer than you expected. I have never rushed the deepest work I do inside a person. Some things must mature slowly so they can remain steady once they arrive. You kept asking me to remove the waiting season, but much of your strength was born there. During those lonely moments, I was teaching your heart how to depend on me instead of circumstances. I was healing patterns inside you that success alone could never repair. Take a breath now and release the bitterness that formed while you waited. Stop replaying old disappointments as proof that nothing good is coming. Stop speaking over your future as though every unanswered prayer is permanent rejection. You cannot hear my direction clearly while resentment fills your spirit. Let your heart soften again. Trust me enough to believe that closed doors are not always loss. Sometimes they are protection wrapped in temporary pain. Sometimes they are the reason you survived things that would have broken you later. My beloved, I am not standing far away from your life watching passively while you struggle. I have been involved in details you never even noticed. I protected your heart more times than you realize. I slowed certain situations down because your soul needed healing before arrival. And even now, while you are trying to understand the timing of your life, I am still arranging things with care. So stop calling yourself forgotten. Stop treating the waiting season like evidence that I abandoned you. Lift your eyes again. There is movement happening beyond what you currently see, and your story is not ending in disappointment. My child, I want you to stop being so harsh with yourself for a moment and look honestly at how far you have already come. You keep focusing on what still hurts, what still confuses you, and what still feels unfinished, but you rarely notice the quiet transformation that has already taken place inside you. A year ago, some of the things you handled calmly now would have completely shattered your peace. Certain conversations would have consumed your thoughts for weeks. Certain disappointments would have convinced you that your future was collapsing. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still searching for me even after everything your heart has endured. Do not overlook the miracle hidden inside that endurance. You have changed more than you realize. I have watched the way your heart softened in places where bitterness once tried to take root. I saw the moments when you wanted to become cold because being vulnerable felt too dangerous, yet something inside you refused to fully close. That was me protecting the tenderness of your spirit. You thought strength meant becoming emotionally unreachable, but I have been teaching you something deeper. Real healing does not harden your soul. It steadies it. It allows you to carry wisdom without carrying constant fear. Come closer now and let yourself recognize the growth you keep dismissing. Stop speaking to yourself like someone who has made no progress. Stop reducing your journey to only the parts that remain unfinished. There were nights when you cried because you thought nothing inside you was changing. Yet even during those painful seasons, I was reshaping your thoughts quietly. Your patience grew where impulsiveness once controlled you. Your discernment sharpened through disappointment. You became slower to trust empty words and more willing to protect your peace. Some lessons reached you through heartbreak. Others reached you through silence. None of it was wasted. I know you sometimes feel frustrated because your healing did not happen overnight. But deep healing rarely arrives like lightning. It often unfolds slowly, like morning light spreading across the sky after a long dark night. You do not always notice it immediately, but eventually you look around and realize the darkness no longer has the same hold on you. My beloved, stop waiting until you feel completely healed before acknowledging the work I have already done in your life. You are not who you used to be. The fact that you still seek peace after everything you survived already reveals the resilience I placed within you. The fact that your heart still hopes, even cautiously, means your spirit has not given up. Invite yourself into gratitude instead of constant self-criticism. Speak gently to your own soul. Let yourself breathe without carrying the pressure to become perfect overnight. Now listen carefully and receive this invitation fully. Do not keep staring at your flaws while ignoring your growth. Open your eyes to the person you are becoming. Give yourself permission to move forward without dragging old versions of yourself into every new season. Some chapters deserve closure. Some identities deserve release. You are not the frightened person who first entered the storm. You have been refined through fire, and although the process exhausted you at times, it also revealed strength inside you that you never knew existed. So lift your head now. Stop speaking as though your life is standing still. Transformation has already begun, and your future will reveal just how much I have been changing you all along. My child, as you begin to recognize how much I have already transformed within you, understand this also. I am calling many wounded hearts through this message, and I desire to carry this light even farther. Every seed you sow into this mission becomes oil for lamps burning in dark places where weary souls are searching for hope again. Did I not say, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for after many days you will find it again"? I am breathing life through these words to reach those standing at the edge of despair, and your giving helps open the door for them to hear my voice. If your spirit has been strengthened here, then do not ignore the stirring I am placing inside you right now. Some are called to encourage with words, but others are called to move heaven's work forward through faithful generosity. I will multiply every act of obedience done with love, and I will pour back into your life strength, provision, and peace that overflow beyond what you expected. Do not delay this divine appointment. Send your super thanks, join the membership, or sow your offering through the PayPal link in the video description now, and become part of the harvest I am gathering across the earth. My child, I need you to pay close attention to what you keep carrying in your heart every time you think about tomorrow. So much of your emotional energy has been consumed by fear that you hardly notice how heavy it has become. You prepare yourself for disappointment before anything even happens. You enter new situations already expecting loss. You imagine conversations ending badly before they even begin. Fear has quietly trained your mind to scan every possibility for danger, and because you have lived this way for so long, it now feels normal to you. But I never designed your future to be built upon constant emotional protection. I did not create you to walk through life with your spirit clenched tightly against every possible wound. Come here and listen carefully because this matters deeply. Some of the fear you carry was born from real pain. I know that. You did not become cautious without reason. Certain betrayal shook your trust. Certain losses arrived without warning. Certain prayers seemed unanswered for so long that your heart learned to expect silence instead of comfort. I saw all of it. I saw the nights when anxiety wrapped around your thoughts like a storm cloud that refused to move. I saw how exhaustion settled into your body after carrying emotional tension day after day. But just because fear learned how to survive inside you does not mean it deserves to guide your future. You keep asking me for peace while secretly feeding every fearful thought that enters your mind. Stop doing that, my beloved. Stop rehearsing disaster before life even unfolds. Stop treating tomorrow like an enemy waiting to hurt you. Fear will always try to convince you that safety exists in staying emotionally guarded, but fear is a terrible liar. It shrinks your world slowly. It convinces you to avoid opportunities that could heal you. It tells you to remain hidden instead of fully living. And if you are not careful, you will spend years surviving situations that never even happen. I am inviting you now to travel lighter. Open your hands emotionally and release the burdens you were never meant to drag into your next season. You do not need to carry every old heartbreak into every new relationship. You do not need to expect abandonment every time someone gets close to you. You do not need to assume that because something painful happened before, it will repeat forever. Let your mind rest. Breathe deeply. Give your nervous spirit permission to stop living like danger is always standing at the door. My child, your future is not a dark tunnel waiting to collapse around you. I am already present there. I have gone ahead of you in ways you cannot fully understand yet. There are peaceful moments waiting for you that fear keeps trying to hide from your imagination. There are conversations that will heal instead of wound you. There are doors that will open without manipulation or confusion attached to them. But you must stop packing fear into every vision you have of tomorrow. Invite hope back into your thinking. Speak life over your future instead of rehearsing defeat. Trust me enough to believe that your next season does not have to look exactly like your last one. My child, you have spent so much time waiting for certainty that you have almost forgotten how to trust me in motion. You keep telling yourself that once every question is answered, once every fear settles down, once you finally understand exactly how everything will unfold, then you will move forward. But listen to me carefully and let this truth settle deep inside your spirit. If you wait until you feel completely certain about every detail of your future, you will remain standing in the same emotional place far longer than necessary. Fear disguises itself as wisdom sometimes. It convinces you that hesitation is maturity when in reality it is quietly draining your courage little by little. I know why you want clarity before taking another step. You have already experienced disappointment. You have trusted situations that collapsed. You have invested your heart into plans that never unfolded the way you hoped. After enough painful outcomes, your mind naturally tries to protect itself by demanding guarantees before risking movement again. But I never asked you to carry your future by yourself. I never told you to solve every tomorrow before today even arrives. Come closer now and release the pressure you keep placing on your own shoulders. You are exhausting yourself trying to predict every possible outcome instead of trusting the one who already sees the road ahead. There are moments when I intentionally reveal only part of the path because I want your heart to stay connected to me, not just connected to results. If I unfolded every answer immediately, you would begin depending more on certainty than relationship. Faith grows differently. It develops while you keep walking even when the full picture remains hidden. Think about how many times your life changed through unexpected doors you never planned for. Some of the most meaningful moments in your journey arrived quietly, without warning, without perfect preparation, without a map carefully laid out in front of you. Yet somehow I still carried you through them. Stop demanding perfection from yourself before you begin. Stop assuming you must feel fearless before you obey the invitation I placed in your spirit. Courage is not born after fear disappears. Courage grows while you continue moving even though uncertainty still exists beside you. Open your heart now and let yourself breathe without needing to control every outcome. Let go of the illusion that constant overthinking will somehow keep pain away. Some of your deepest exhaustion comes from trying to mentally live inside futures that have not even happened yet. My beloved, I am inviting you into a softer kind of trust. Take the next step I placed in front of you instead of trying to force clarity about every step after it. Listen for my voice today instead of panicking about next year. Trust that I know how to guide you gradually. I have never abandoned you in confusion before, and I will not start now. So stop standing at the edge of your future waiting for complete certainty to arrive like lightning from heaven. Pack your fear away. Loosen your grip on the need to control every detail. Begin moving with me. The answers you keep demanding often become visible while you are already walking forward. My child, there are certain goodbyes that wounded you so deeply because you never expected those chapters to end. You thought some people would stay forever. You imagined certain relationships would continue growing beside you through every season of your life. When those connections changed, when distance formed, when silence replaced closeness, your heart struggled to understand why. I know you still revisit some of those memories quietly. You replay conversations in your mind. You wonder what you could have done differently. Part of you still carries grief for versions of life that no longer exist. But I need you to hear me gently now. Not every goodbye was destruction. Some goodbyes were protection. Some endings were sacred even though they hurt. You keep looking backward at people who walked away while ignoring the emotional weight their presence had already begun placing on your spirit. There were relationships that slowly drained your peace while you kept calling it loyalty. There were environments where you constantly felt smaller, quieter, more anxious, more uncertain about yourself. Yet because your heart fears loss, you kept trying to preserve connections that were no longer healthy for your future. My beloved, love should not constantly leave you emotionally exhausted. Real connection should not require you to abandon yourself completely in order to keep someone close. I know certain departures made you question your worth. Some people left without explanation. Others changed suddenly after promising they never would. Those experiences created deep fears inside you. They made you hesitant to trust again. They convinced parts of your heart that everyone eventually disappears. But do not let temporary heartbreak turn into permanent hopelessness. Do not build your identity around rejection. The actions of wounded people do not determine your value. Come closer now and let me heal the places inside you that still ache from old exits. There are moments when I remove people because they cannot walk where I am leading you next. Some individuals were connected to seasons of your healing, not seasons of your destiny. Others would have kept you emotionally tied to old versions of yourself that needed to remain behind. You keep calling certain endings failures when heaven was actually creating space for your growth. Release the need to chase every person who chooses distance. Stop begging emotionally for doors to reopen when I already closed them with mercy. My child, let yourself grieve honestly, but do not remain trapped there forever. Invite peace back into the spaces where heartbreak settled. Open your hands and surrender the people you keep trying to carry emotionally long after they left your life physically. I know loneliness scares you sometimes, but empty space is not always punishment. Sometimes it becomes the place where healing finally begins to breathe again. Trust me enough to believe that I can remove something from your life without removing your future joy. There are still meaningful connections ahead of you. There are still people who will recognize the value of your heart without constantly making you question it. But you must stop building altars to relationships that were never meant to become permanent homes for your soul. My child, I know how tired you have become beneath the surface of your everyday life. There are forms of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix, and you have been carrying that kind of weariness for longer than most people realize. You learned how to continue functioning while your spirit quietly struggled for air. You answered messages while feeling emotionally empty. You fulfilled responsibilities while your heart begged for rest. There were mornings when simply getting out of bed felt like lifting a mountain with trembling hands. Yet you still forced yourself to move because you believed everyone depended on your strength. I saw every hidden moment of that battle. I saw the way you held yourself together in public while privately wondering how much longer you could keep carrying so much weight inside you. Come closer to me now and stop pretending you are not exhausted. Stop calling Burra being strong. Stop convincing yourself that your value comes from how much pressure you can survive without breaking. You were never meant to live every day with your soul stretched thin like fragile glass ready to crack under one more burden. Some of the heaviness you carry does not even belong to you anymore. You kept absorbing the emotions of others. You kept saying yes while your heart quietly whispered no. You kept trying to rescue situations and people that only left your spirit drained in return. My beloved, I need you to loosen your grip on the belief that you must carry everything alone. There were nights when your thoughts would not slow down no matter how tired your body became. Anxiety sat beside you in the dark while you replayed conversations, responsibilities, fears, and unfinished worries over and over again. You tried to prepare yourself mentally for every possible problem because you thought constant vigilance would somehow protect you from future pain. But all it did was steal peace from moments that were meant to nourish you. Listen carefully now. Rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom. Let yourself breathe again without guilt attached to it. I am inviting you into a softer pace emotionally and spiritually. Sit with me for a moment instead of constantly racing ahead in your mind. Put down the invisible backpack full of pressure you have been dragging through every season. You do not have to prove your worth through exhaustion. You do not need to earn love by overextending yourself until there is nothing left inside you. Let your heart become still enough to hear my voice again beneath all the noise you have been carrying. My child, I have seen the silent tears you never explained to anyone. I noticed the moments when discouragement wrapped itself around your thoughts and made even simple things feel unbearably heavy. Yet even there, I remained beside you. I never looked away from your pain. So stop hiding your weariness from me. Bring it into my presence honestly. Let me strengthen the parts of you that have quietly been running on empty for far too long. Your soul was not designed to survive on scraps of peace. There is rest ahead for you, real rest, the kind that reaches beyond your body and settles deep into your spirit. But you must stop treating exhaustion like your permanent home. Lay it down now. Let me carry what has been crushing your heart. My child, as I lift the exhaustion from your spirit, I am also awakening you to become a river of refreshment for others who are collapsing beneath hidden burdens. There are souls wandering through dry wilderness seasons right now, desperate for one drop of living water, and I am using this message as manna for their weary hearts. Did I not tell you, give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over? When you support this mission, you are not merely giving money, you are helping carry my comfort into homes filled with silent tears and anxious nights. I see every sacrifice made in secret, and I promise that seeds planted in compassion will never return empty. The enemy wants you to believe your offering is too small to matter, but even a single jar of oil surrendered into my hands can fill countless empty vessels. I am blessing those who choose to build what heaven is breathing upon in this hour. Therefore act now with faith, send your super thanks, become a member, or release your offering through the PayPal link waiting in the video description, and help my word reach the exhausted hearts crying out for rest. My child, I need you to understand something before this next season begins unfolding more clearly in front of you. Growth often feels uncomfortable at first because your mind naturally wants to return to what feels familiar, even when familiar things have been hurting you for years. There is a strange comfort in old patterns because at least you know how they work. You know how to survive inside them. Even unhealthy cycles can start feeling safe when you have lived inside them long enough. That is why part of you keeps hesitating whenever I call you towards something new. Your spirit feels the invitation, but your fear immediately starts whispering questions into your mind. What if this changes everything? What if I fail? What if I lose what little stability I still have? I hear every one of those thoughts, my beloved, and I want you to bring them honestly before me instead of letting them silently control your decisions. Come here and listen carefully. Discomfort is not always a warning sign. Sometimes it is simply evidence that your life is stretching beyond old limitations. Think about how long you prayed for change while simultaneously resisting anything unfamiliar. You asked me to open new doors, but when opportunities began appearing, fear convinced you to retreat because uncertainty felt dangerous. You asked me to heal your heart, but healing started requiring you to release emotional habits that once helped you survive. Growth rarely feels smooth in the beginning because transformation asks you to trust beyond what your past experiences taught you. I know how tempting it is to return to old emotional spaces simply because they are familiar. Your mind sometimes drifts backward toward situations you already outgrew because at least they are predictable. But do not confuse predictability with peace. Some of the environments you miss were slowly suffocating your spirit while you kept calling them comfort zones. Stop romanticizing places that drained you. Stop convincing yourself that shrinking emotionally is safer than becoming whole. There will be moments ahead when you feel uncertain while stepping into what I prepared for you. Certain conversations will challenge old fears. Certain decisions will stretch your confidence. Some days you may feel like a traveler carrying packed bags while standing at the edge of unfamiliar territory, wondering if you are truly ready to move forward. But hear me clearly now. You do not need to feel fully comfortable in order to keep walking with me. Take the step anyway. Open the door anyway. Speak honestly anyway. Trust me through the trembling instead of waiting for fear to disappear completely. My beloved, I am not leading you into discomfort to punish you. I am leading you out of emotional prisons that became too familiar. There is freedom ahead of you, but freedom often feels unfamiliar after years of survival mode. Stay close to me during this transition. Let me steady your thoughts when fear tries to magnify uncertainty into disaster. You are not losing yourself through this process. You are finally becoming the person you were always meant to be. My child, there is a reason some places no longer feel the way they once did. There is a reason certain conversations leave your spirit tired instead of fulfilled. You keep trying to reconnect emotionally with environments that no longer fit the person you are becoming, and every time you do, something inside you feels unsettled afterward. That feeling is not confusion. It is growth. Your soul has expanded beyond spaces that once held you comfortably, and now you are beginning to feel the tension between who you used to be and who I am leading you to become. I know part of you still wants to hold on because familiarity can feel safe. Even painful environments can become emotionally comfortable when you have lived inside them for a long time. You know how to survive there. You know the language, the patterns, the expectations. But survival is not the same as peace. Some places kept your spirit small while convincing you it was security. Some people became so used to the quieter version of you that they grew uncomfortable when your healing began changing the way you think, speak, and carry yourself. Do not shrink yourself again just to remain accepted in rooms where your soul no longer breathes freely. Come closer and listen carefully because this matters deeply for your future. You cannot continue dragging old emotional environments into the next season I prepared for you. Stop revisiting places that reopen wounds you have been trying to heal from. Stop entertaining connections that leave your heart anxious every time you walk away from them. Pay attention to what your spirit feels after certain conversations. Notice how peace disappears when you force yourself to stay attached to things I already told you to outgrow. Your exhaustion is trying to tell you something. Your restlessness carries direction hidden inside it. I know letting go feels complicated because part of you fears loneliness. You worry that if you fully release certain environments, you will end up isolated and misunderstood. But hear me clearly now. Empty space is not always loss. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes I clear crowded emotional rooms so your heart finally has space to breathe again. Do not rush to refill every silence out of fear. Sit with me there for a while. Let your spirit adjust to healthier ground instead of constantly returning to what drains you simply because it feels familiar. My beloved, you are not becoming prideful because you no longer tolerate what once damaged your peace. You are becoming wiser. There is a difference. Stop apologizing for the growth I placed inside you. Stop mourning the loss of places that could never support your healing long term. The person you are becoming requires different environments, deeper peace, and healthier connections. So stop forcing yourself to remain where your spirit feels heavy. Open the door. Step forward. Trust the discomfort of growth more than the comfort of emotional stagnation. I am not removing you from certain spaces to punish you. I am calling you into wider places where your heart can finally live without constantly fighting to survive. My child, I need you to release the exhausting habit of comparing your journey to the lives you see around you. You have spent too many quiet moments looking at other people and wondering why their lives seem to move faster, easier, or more beautifully than yours. Sometimes you celebrate others outwardly while privately questioning whether you somehow missed your own chance at happiness. You scroll through achievements, relationships, milestones, and breakthroughs, and slowly your heart begins whispering dangerous lies to itself. Maybe I am behind. Maybe I wasted too much time. Maybe everyone else is being chosen while I remain overlooked. But those thoughts are pulling your attention away from the unique story I am writing through your life. Come here and breathe for a moment, because your journey was never designed to look exactly like anyone else's. Some people bloom early. Others grow slowly beneath the surface before their season arrives. You keep comparing your unfinished chapters to someone else's visible results without knowing the full weight they carry privately. What you see from the outside is never the complete story. Every person you envy has hidden struggles you cannot see. Every smiling face carries private battles unknown to the world. Stop assuming everyone else has peace simply because they appear successful for a few seconds in front of your eyes. I know comparison became stronger during seasons where your own progress felt slow. Waiting can make other people's breakthroughs feel louder. Delays can make someone else's blessings feel like painful reminders of what you are still praying for. But listen carefully now. Another person's timing is not proof that heaven forgot you. Their path does not cancel yours. You are not standing in a race where only one life gets chosen for joy, purpose, healing, or love. I do not run out of plans for my children. Your story carries details designed specifically for your heart, your calling, your healing, and your growth. Stop measuring your worth by external timelines. Stop asking yourself why you are not married yet, healed yet, successful yet, fully confident yet, emotionally whole yet. Growth does not unfold on human schedules as neatly as you imagine. Some of the deepest work I do inside a person happens quietly and invisibly long before outward change appears. You keep overlooking the inner strength I have been building because you are too focused on visible milestones around you. My beloved, lift your eyes away from comparison before it poisons your peace completely. Invite gratitude back into your spirit. Celebrate what I am doing in your life even while certain prayers remain unfinished. Speak gently to yourself instead of constantly criticizing your pace. Trust the timing of your own journey. I know exactly where you are, and I know what your heart can carry right now. You do not need to force yourself into someone else's path to prove your value. Walk closely with me instead. Your life is not late. Your story is not lesser. Your future has not been forgotten. There are beautiful things still unfolding for you, even if they are arriving differently than you once expected. My child, I know how often your mind drifts into tomorrow with fear already waiting there for you. You think about the future, and immediately your heart tightens. Questions begin rising one after another. What if things fall apart again? What if I fail? What if the peace I long for never actually arrives? You have spent so much time surviving painful seasons that your mind learned to expect disaster before hope even has a chance to breathe. Somewhere along the journey, fear convinced you that preparing for disappointment would protect you from being hurt again. But all it has really done is steal your ability to see the beauty I still have waiting ahead of you. Come closer now and let me speak gently into those anxious thoughts you keep carrying alone. Your future is not standing ahead of you like a dark storm waiting to destroy everything you love. I am already there before you arrive. I know every conversation that has not happened yet. I know every door that will open, every person who will enter your life, every unexpected blessing, every hidden protection, every quiet miracle that will unfold at the right time. Nothing about your tomorrow catches me by surprise. Stop imagining yourself abandoned in places where I have already prepared grace for you. I know your heart struggles to trust this fully because certain chapters of your life wounded you deeply. Some disappointments arrived suddenly and left emotional scars that still ache when you remember them. You prayed for things that never happened. You trusted people who changed without warning. You walked through losses that made your world feel unstable for a long time afterward. Because of that pain, your mind keeps trying to predict every possible danger ahead. But listen carefully now. You cannot build a peaceful life while constantly expecting tragedy around every corner. Fear magnifies shadows until they look larger than truth itself. Stop feeding hopeless thoughts every time you think about your future. Stop speaking over your life as though disappointment is your permanent destiny. Invite me into your imagination again. Let your heart consider the possibility that beautiful things can still happen to you. Let yourself believe that healing is possible, that love is possible, that peace is possible, that joy can return in ways you no longer expect. Your future has not been cursed by your past. One painful season does not have authority over your entire story. My beloved, there are moments ahead of you that will make your tired heart breathe differently again. There are peaceful mornings waiting for you where anxiety will no longer greet you before the sun rises. There are conversations that will bring clarity instead of confusion. There are people I am preparing who will handle your heart with care instead of carelessness. But you must stop walking toward tomorrow carrying constant dread like a suitcase strapped tightly to your spirit. Put it down now. Open your hands. Trust me with what you cannot yet see. The future is not your enemy. I am leading you there myself, step by step, with more tenderness and wisdom than you currently understand. My child, as I remind you that your future is not against you, hear this clearly. I am also preparing futures for countless others through the spreading of my word. Every gift you release into this mission becomes a seed planted into tomorrow's harvest, where broken hearts will encounter hope instead of despair. Did I not declare, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy? There are people scrolling through darkness right now who are one message away from remembering they are not abandoned, and I am inviting you to help carry this light forward before the night grows heavier around them. This is not coincidence. It is a divine moment arranged by my hand. What you place into my kingdom, I will breathe upon with multiplication, protection, and favor that follows your life like rivers flowing through dry land. Do not allow fear or hesitation to silence your obedience when heaven is calling you to move. So now through super thanks, step into membership, or give through the PayPal link in the video description, and partner with me in preparing hope for souls who desperately need it. My child, there is a difference between healing and hiding, and lately your exhausted heart has struggled to tell the difference. I know there are moments when you want to disappear from everything for a while. You become so emotionally overwhelmed that part of you starts imagining escape as the answer. You tell yourself that if you could just leave the pressure, avoid the conversations, shut out the world, or run far enough from the weight you feel inside, maybe peace would finally return. But listen to me carefully because I say this with deep love for you. Running away from pain is not the same as healing from it. Distance alone cannot restore a weary soul. I understand why your mind craves escape. You have carried emotional tension for so long that rest now feels unfamiliar to you. Your thoughts have been racing day and night, trying to solve problems before they happen, trying to protect yourself from future disappointment, trying to survive emotionally in situations that drain your spirit slowly over time. Even when your body becomes still, your heart keeps running marathons inside your chest. You have become physically tired, mentally tired, emotionally tired, and spiritually tired all at once. Come sit with me for a moment and stop trying to outrun what only healing can resolve. Some of the habits you developed were never meant to become permanent shelters for your heart. You distracted yourself to avoid feeling pain fully, You stayed busy because silence made hidden emotions rise to the surface. You kept giving your energy away because focusing on everyone else temporarily helped you avoid facing your own exhaustion. But your soul cannot continue living on temporary escapes forever. Eventually the noise fades. Eventually the distractions end. And when they do, your heart still longs for real peace underneath it all. I am not asking you to carry every burden alone while pretending to be strong. I am inviting you to rest deeply in my presence instead of constantly searching for ways to numb yourself emotionally. Stop running from your own healing process. Stop convincing yourself that avoidance is peace. Bring your fears honestly into the light. Let yourself admit where you are hurting instead of covering your wounds with constant movement and distraction. Real rest begins when your soul no longer feels responsible for controlling everything around it. My beloved, your heart does not need another temporary escape route. It needs restoration. It needs stillness. It needs safety. It needs room to breathe without constantly preparing for the next emotional storm. So slow down now. Turn down the noise you keep surrounding yourself with. Sit quietly with me again. Let your nervous spirit settle. Let your exhausted mind loosen its grip on every fear it keeps trying to manage. I am not disappointed in your weariness. I am waiting patiently to carry the weight you were never supposed to hold by yourself. There is healing available for you that runs deeper than distraction ever could. Stop running now and let yourself finally rest. My child, there are wounds inside you that still whisper lies when the world becomes quiet. Certain memories continue returning without warning. A conversation, a betrayal, a painful ending, a moment when your heart shattered so deeply that you wondered whether you would ever feel whole again. I know how those experiences change you. I saw the way disappointment settled into your thoughts afterward. I saw how carefully you began guarding your emotions once trust became painful. Part of you still fears that what broke you in the past somehow permanently damaged your future. But come closer and listen to me carefully now. The pain you survived is not your identity. Your heartbreak is not your destiny. What wounded you deeply does not have authority to define the rest of your life. You have spent too much time introducing yourself to your own mind through the language of damage. You call yourself broken, difficult, emotionally exhausted, hard to love, too sensitive, too complicated, too far gone. Stop speaking over your soul as though pain has the final word over who you are. Those moments hurt you, yes. Some scars still ache when touched, yes. But you are far more than the worst thing that happened to you. You are far more than the rejection you experienced, the betrayal you endured, or the failure that left you ashamed. I need you to release the belief that your future must remain chained to old suffering forever. There were seasons when you felt emotionally destroyed and secretly believed you would never fully recover. You kept functioning outwardly while quietly carrying shattered pieces inside your heart. Other people saw you surviving while I saw you barely holding yourself together behind closed doors. I saw the tears you hid. I heard the silent questions you asked late at night when no one else was around. Yet even in those moments, I never abandoned you. I stayed near while you slowly learned how to breathe again. I strengthened parts of you that you thought would never stand back up. Now hear me clearly, my beloved. Stop revisiting old pain like it is the truest thing about you. Stop reopening emotional graves I already began healing. There is wisdom you gain through suffering, but you do not need to build your identity around your wounds. Bring those memories into my presence instead of carrying them alone. Let me untangle the shame attached to them. Let me show you that healing does not erase your story but transforms the meaning of it. I am inviting you now to step forward without dragging chains from old heartbreak behind you. Your life is not ruined because you were hurt. Your future is not disqualified because someone mishandled your heart. You are still capable of peace. You are still worthy of love. You are still able to laugh deeply again without fear sitting beside every joyful moment. The things that broke you may have changed parts of your journey, but they do not get to decide where your life ends. I am still writing your story, and I promise you this with tenderness and truth. Your pain will not have the final chapter. My child, I know there are days when it feels like nothing is changing. You pray, you wait, you try to remain hopeful, yet your circumstances seem painfully still. Because progress has not arrived in the dramatic way you imagined, your heart quietly begins believing that perhaps you are farther away from healing, peace, or breakthrough than ever before. But I need you to stop measuring your growth only by what your eyes can immediately see. Some of the most important work happening in your life right now is unfolding beneath the surface where fear cannot fully understand it yet. Think about how roots grow underground long before trees rise visibly toward the sky. The deepest transformations often happen quietly. You keep looking for giant signs while overlooking the smaller shifts already happening within you. Your reactions have changed in ways you barely notice. Certain things that once controlled your emotions no longer hold the same power over you. Your heart pauses now before responding impulsively. Your spirit seeks peace more quickly after conflict. Even your desire to heal instead of simply survive reveals how much growth has already taken place inside you. Stop dismissing these quieter victories just because they do not arrive wrapped in dramatic moments. I know the waiting has tested your patience deeply. There were times when you honestly wondered if your prayers disappeared into silence. You kept asking me for confirmation while feeling emotionally stranded between where you were and where you hoped to be. But listen carefully now. Delay does not mean distance. Silence does not mean absence. There are seasons where I work slowly and steadily because your heart needs depth more than speed. Quick answers can impress people temporarily, but deep healing transforms lives from the inside out. Come closer and release the frustration that keeps telling you nothing good is happening. Stop speaking hopelessness over seasons that are still unfolding. Stop assuming that because you cannot see immediate results, your journey is stalled completely. You are not standing still the way fear keeps insisting. Even now, while your heart wrestles with uncertainty, I am arranging details ahead of you with great care. Conversations are being prepared. Healing is unfolding gradually. Doors are shifting quietly in ways you cannot fully recognize yet. My beloved, you are much closer than you think. Do not walk away emotionally just because the process feels slower than expected. Stay with me through this part of the journey. Trust the unseen work taking place inside you. Some miracles begin softly before they become visible. Some breakthroughs arrive through gradual restoration instead of sudden change. Keep moving forward even if the steps feel small right now. Keep opening your heart even after disappointment tried convincing you to close it forever. Keep listening for my voice beneath the noise of fear. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned halfway through your story. You are closer to healing, clarity, and peace than your tired heart currently realizes. My child, I know there were moments when silence made you believe I had stepped away from your life. You prayed for direction and heard nothing. You waited for comfort and instead felt surrounded by uncertainty. Over time, disappointment slowly convinced parts of your heart that perhaps you had been overlooked. You began carrying questions you rarely said aloud. Why does it seem like everyone else receives answers while I remain waiting? Why do my prayers feel delayed? Why does my life feel paused while others keep moving forward? I heard every one of those thoughts, even the ones hidden beneath your smile. But listen to me now with an open heart. Silence is not abandonment. Delay is not rejection. And your pain has never made you invisible to me. You keep measuring my presence by immediate outcomes, but my work in your life has never depended only on what you can see quickly. There were seasons when I protected you quietly without announcing it. There were doors I closed because the consequences behind them would have wounded you more deeply than you realize. There were moments when I slowed things down because your spirit needed healing before receiving what you were asking for. Yet because you could not see all of that happening, fear interpreted the waiting as absence. My beloved, I have never once stopped paying attention to your life. Come closer now and release the belief that you must earn my attention through perfection, performance, or constant strength. You are not forgotten because your journey looks slower than someone else's. You are not unloved because you still struggle emotionally sometimes. You are not unseen because certain prayers remain unanswered today. I know the exact details of your life right now. I know the thoughts keeping you awake at night. I know the fears you try to hide from other people. I know the quiet exhaustion sitting underneath your daily responsibilities. Nothing about your life escapes my notice. There were nights when you sat alone feeling emotionally disconnected from everything around you. You smiled during the day while privately carrying sadness no one fully understood. You kept functioning outwardly while inwardly wondering whether anyone truly saw how much you were hurting. I saw it all. I stayed near during every tear you wiped away quickly. I remained beside you through every conversation where you pretended to be okay because explaining your pain felt too exhausting. Stop telling yourself that your loneliness proves you are abandoned. Loneliness is a feeling, not a prophecy over your future. My child, I want you to stop speaking hopelessness over your life. Stop introducing yourself to your own mind as someone forgotten by heaven. Lift your eyes again. Invite trust back into your relationship with me. Let your heart rest in the truth that I have never lost sight of you for even 1 second. You are deeply known. You are fully seen. You are still being guided, even during seasons where the road ahead feels quiet. Do not turn away now simply because the process feels slower than expected. Stay close to me. Keep walking forward. I am still leading you, even here. My child, as I remind you that you have never been forgotten, understand that there are millions still sitting in silence believing heaven has abandoned them completely. I am sending these words like fire into dark rooms, wakening hearts that nearly gave up during the waiting season. Did I not say, I will never leave you nor forsake you? When you support this mission, you help carry that promise into places where loneliness has been choking faith for far too long. Your generosity becomes like oil poured into empty lamps, causing my light to shine again in weary spirits across the nations. I see every act of obedience, and I will remember those who chose to help build what restores hope to the forgotten. The enemy wants delay, distraction, and hesitation, but I am calling my people to move with urgency while the door remains open to reach more souls. Therefore, rise now and act in faith. Send your super thanks, join the membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the video description, and help heaven's voice reach those who are still waiting to be reminded they are seen. My child, there are parts of you that helped you survive painful seasons but cannot guide you into the future I prepared for you. I know why you developed certain habits emotionally. I know why your heart became guarded. I know why you learned to expect disappointment before trusting joy. Those patterns were formed during seasons when you were trying to protect yourself from further pain. But survival patterns become dangerous when they remain long after the storm has passed. What once protected your heart is now limiting your ability to fully live, fully trust, and fully receive peace. You keep trying to step into new seasons while carrying old emotional identities that no longer fit who you are becoming. Part of you still speaks to yourself like the frightened person you used to be. You still react to present moments through wounds connected to the past. You still assume people will leave, Opportunities will fail, or happiness will disappear because pain trained your mind to expect loss. But listen carefully now. The version of you that was built entirely around fear cannot lead you into freedom. The version of you that survived by shutting down emotionally cannot fully experience the life waiting ahead. Come here and let me speak gently into this part of your heart. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to think differently now. You are allowed to stop carrying emotional armor everywhere you go. Some walls need to come down because they are blocking love, peace, healing, and connection from reaching you fully. I know vulnerability feels risky after everything you experienced, but constant emotional defense is exhausting your spirit. You were not created to spend your entire life preparing for pain before it even arrives. There are thoughts you must stop agreeing with if you truly want to move forward. Stop calling yourself difficult to love. Stop assuming your future will repeat your past exactly. Stop identifying so strongly with old wounds that you forget how much growth has already taken place inside you. Your healing requires honesty. It requires your willingness to release identities that no longer belong to you. Some chapters ended, my beloved. Let them end completely instead of carrying them emotionally into every new season. I am inviting you now into transformation that reaches deeper than appearances. Do not simply change your environment while keeping the same fearful mindset alive inside you. Let your thinking heal too. Let your heart breathe differently. Sit with me and allow old lies to loosen their grip on your spirit. You are not the same person who first entered those painful seasons. You have learned. You have grown. You have survived things that once felt impossible. Now stop dragging outdated versions of yourself into places where they no longer belong. My child, your future needs the healed parts of you to rise. It needs the wiser version of you to lead. It needs the version of you that trusts me more than fear. So release the old identity carefully but completely. Thank it for helping you survive if you must, but do not let it control the rest of your story. You are moving forward now, and the person I am shaping you into carries more strength, peace, wisdom, and freedom than you currently realize. My child, fear has occupied far too much space inside your life for too long. It has followed you into decisions, relationships, opportunities, and even quiet moments when nothing dangerous was actually happening. Sometimes fear became so familiar that you stopped recognizing how deeply it was shaping the way you think. You began arranging your life around avoiding pain instead of embracing peace. You became cautious with your dreams, careful with your trust, restrained with your emotions, and hesitant with your future because disappointment taught you to expect heartbreak before hope could fully breathe. But I need you to hear me clearly now. You were not created to spend your life imprisoned by constant fear. I know why fear settled into your heart so deeply. Certain wounds arrived suddenly and changed the way you viewed safety. Some betrayals taught you to expect abandonment. Some failures convinced you that trying again would only lead to more pain. Little by little, fear started becoming the loudest voice in your thoughts. It warned you not to trust too quickly, not to hope too much, not to risk too deeply, not to expect peace to last. And while some caution protected you temporarily, fear eventually began stealing parts of your life that were meant to remain alive. It stole joy from good moments because you were already preparing for loss. It stole peace from quiet days because your mind kept searching for danger hidden around the corner. Come closer now and let your spirit breathe for a moment without carrying all the tension. Stop treating fear like wisdom simply because it feels familiar. Fear is exhausting your heart. Fear is narrowing your world. Fear is convincing you to stay emotionally hidden when I created you to live freely, honestly, and fully connected to life again. Open your hands and release the belief that constant worry somehow keeps you safe. It does not. It only keeps your soul tired. There are beautiful things waiting ahead of you that fear keeps trying to hide from your imagination. There are conversations you were meant to have, opportunities you were meant to explore, healing you were meant to receive, and peace you were meant to experience without suspicion attached to every joyful moment. But you cannot fully step into those things while allowing fear to remain the loudest voice guiding your choices. Stop rehearsing disaster every time your heart begins hoping for something good. Stop shrinking your expectations just to protect yourself emotionally from disappointment. My beloved, I am inviting you into courage that grows quietly through trust. Do not wait until fear disappears completely before moving forward. Walk with me even while uncertainty still exists beside you. Let your faith become stronger than the fearful stories your mind keeps repeating. Speak gently to your heart instead of feeding it constant panic. You are not powerless. You are not trapped forever inside survival mode. You were created for deeper peace than this. So stand up emotionally now. Hack away the fear that has followed you for years. Lift your eyes again. There is life ahead of you that cannot fully bloom until you stop allowing fear to define the boundaries of your future. My child, I know how exhausting confusion has become for your heart. There have been days when your thoughts felt tangled beyond understanding. You kept replaying decisions, questioning yourself, wondering whether you were moving in the right direction or quietly losing your way. Too many voices surrounded you at once. Opinions pulled you one direction while fear pulled you another. Your own overthinking added even more noise until your spirit became overwhelmed trying to sort through it all. I saw how mentally tired you became from carrying unanswered questions day after day. But listen to me carefully now. Confusion is not where I intend for your heart to remain. You have spent so much time searching outside yourself for certainty that you stopped sitting still long enough to hear my voice clearly again. Fear made you rush emotionally. Anxiety made you feel like every decision carried life or death consequences. Because of that pressure, your mind kept spinning endlessly, trying to predict outcomes before they arrive. But clarity rarely grows in panic. Peace does not bloom inside constant emotional chaos. Come closer now. Slow down your racing thoughts. Breathe deeply and let your spirit settle for a moment instead of demanding immediate answers from yourself. There are times when confusion increases because you are listening to too many competing voices at once. Some people speak from their own fears rather than wisdom. Some opinions reflect pressure instead of truth. Even your own thoughts become unreliable when exhaustion takes control. That is why I am inviting you back into stillness with me. Turn down the noise around you. Step away from constant mental overload. Stop feeding your anxiety with endless overanalysis. You do not need to force clarity through panic. My beloved, I am already guiding you even in moments when the full path still feels hidden. You keep expecting direction to arrive like thunder, but often I lead gently, quietly, steadily. Sometimes clarity comes one step at a time instead of all at once. Sometimes the next right decision only becomes obvious after you stop fighting internally long enough to notice the peace I already placed before you. Pay attention to what consistently drains your spirit and what consistently brings deeper peace. Your soul often recognizes truth before your fearful mind fully understands it. Now listen carefully and receive this invitation fully. Stop tormenting yourself with endless uncertainty. Release the pressure to solve your entire future tonight. Bring your confusion into my presence instead of carrying it alone inside your thoughts. Ask me for wisdom, then allow yourself to rest instead of spiraling deeper into fear. You are not abandoned in darkness. You are being guided gradually with tenderness and care. Clarity is coming, my child, but it will reach you more easily once your heart becomes quiet enough to receive it. So sit with me here for a while. Let the noise fade. Let peace return slowly. I am not leading you into confusion. I am leading you through it and out of it. My child, I know there were seasons when disappointment became so constant that your heart slowly stopped expecting beautiful things to happen anymore. You learned how to survive sadness quietly. You adjusted to carrying emotional heaviness like it was part of your identity. Over time, hope started feeling dangerous because every time you allowed yourself to dream again, something painful seemed to interrupt it. I saw the way your heart became cautious with joy. I saw how quickly your mind started preparing for loss even during good moments. You began protecting yourself emotionally by expecting less from life. But listen to me carefully now. Your story is not over. There is still beauty ahead of you, even if your weary heart struggles to imagine it right now. I know some dreams ended painfully. Certain prayers were not answered in the way you expected. Some relationships collapsed even after you gave them your full love and effort. There were moments when it felt like life kept taking from you faster than it ever gave back. Because of that, part of you stopped looking forward altogether. You focused only on surviving each day because imagining a better future felt too risky emotionally. But my beloved, do not allow temporary heartbreak to convince you that all future joy has been canceled. One painful chapter does not have permission to define the entire book I am still writing through your life. Come closer now and let yourself breathe without carrying constant dread about tomorrow. Open your heart carefully again. Not recklessly, not blindly, but honestly. Stop assuming that because certain things ended painfully, everything ahead will carry the same outcome. Your past disappointments taught you lessons, but they were never meant to imprison your imagination forever. There are still peaceful mornings waiting for you. There are still genuine connections ahead of you. There are still moments of laughter, restoration, healing, and quiet happiness that your heart has not experienced yet. You keep looking backward at what was lost while missing the gentle ways I am preparing what is next. Some beauty arrives differently than you expected. Sometimes I remove certain dreams because your soul was meant for something deeper, healthier, and more aligned with the life I designed for you. What feels like loss today may one day become the very reason your future finally makes sense. Trust me enough to believe that closed doors can still lead to beautiful destinations you cannot yet recognize. My child, stop speaking over your future like someone who has already been defeated. Invite hope back into your thinking. Let your spirit imagine goodness again without immediately preparing for heartbreak. You do not need to force yourself into fake positivity, but you must stop feeding hopelessness every time fear enters your mind. There is beauty ahead for you that has not yet arrived. There are peaceful seasons your tired heart has not yet touched. There are answers unfolding quietly beyond what you currently see. So lift your eyes again. Pack away the belief that life only holds disappointment for you now. Your journey is still unfolding, and I promise you this gently and truthfully. The road ahead still carries beauty with your name on it. My child, as I tell you there is still beauty ahead for your life, know that I am also preparing beauty to rise from the ashes of countless other hurting souls through this mission. Every offering released in faith becomes a seed of light planted into hearts that have forgotten how to hope again. Did I not promise? The path of the righteous shines brighter and brighter unto the perfect day. I am gathering people from every broken season, every silent battle, and every weary night, and these messages are becoming rivers of healing flowing into places the world has overlooked. When you give, you are helping carry my voice farther than you can currently imagine, reaching homes, families, and hearts standing one step away from surrender. I will bless the hands that choose to build what spreads peace, truth, and restoration in this generation. Do not underestimate what heaven can multiply through one obedient act of generosity placed into my hands. So move now without fear. Release your super thanks, become a member, or so through the PayPal link in the video description, and help send this call of hope to every soul I am drawing forward. My child, the heaviness you feel lately is not only coming from exhaustion. Part of what you are experiencing is the result of carrying things far beyond the season they were ever meant to stay attached to your heart. You keep holding emotional weight that was supposed to be surrendered long ago. Old guilt, old resentment, old fears, old memories that continue replaying inside your mind even though they no longer have the authority to shape your future. Your spirit hath been trying to tell you for a long time that it cannot continue carrying all of this without becoming weary. Yet you keep tightening your grip on pain because releasing it feels unfamiliar. I know why letting go feels difficult for you. Certain wounds became deeply connected to your identity. Some disappointments stayed in your thoughts so long that they almost started feeling like permanent roommates living inside your heart. You replay conversations, relive betrayals, revisit mistakes, and silently punish yourself for things I already offered grace for. My beloved, listen to me carefully now. There are burdens you were never created to carry forever. Some things were meant to teach you, not imprison you. Some pain was meant to pass through your life, not build a permanent home inside your soul. Come here and be honest with yourself for a moment. Your heart is tired because it has been overloaded emotionally for too long. You cannot carry shame, fear, grief, anxiety, unforgiveness, disappointment, and constant self-criticism all at once without eventually collapsing beneath the weight of it. Even your body has started responding to the tension your spirit hath been carrying. Your mind races when you try to rest. Your emotions feel stretched thin. Peace feels distant because your hands are too full to receive it properly. I am inviting you now to release what no longer belongs in your next season. Stop reopening wounds that are trying to heal. Stop carrying responsibility for things you cannot change anymore. Stop punishing yourself endlessly for moments that already passed. Lay those burdens down before me honestly instead of dragging them through every chapter of your future. Forgive yourself where you need to. Forgive others where bitterness has trapped your peace. Release the pressure to carry every emotional battle alone. My child, freedom often begins with surrender. Not surrender to hopelessness, but surrender to healing. Open your hands spiritually and emotionally. Let your soul breathe again without constantly gripping the pain of old seasons. You are not dishonoring your story by releasing the weight connected to it. You are allowing yourself to heal. There is peace waiting for you beyond this heaviness, but you cannot reach it while carrying every wound like sacred cargo strapped tightly to your spirit. So stop dragging what I already asked you to release. Trust me enough to let it go. The weight has become too heavy because your soul was never designed to live beneath it forever. My child, one of the deepest burdens you have carried quietly is the belief that you must constantly prove your worth before you deserve peace, love, rest, or acceptance. You learn to tie your value to performance so gradually that you hardly noticed it happening. Somewhere along your journey, you began believing that if you worked harder, stayed stronger, pleased more people, made fewer mistakes, and carried every responsibility perfectly, then maybe you would finally feel enough. But that pressure has exhausted your spirit far more than you realize. You have been trying to earn what I already freely offer you. I know where some of this pain began. Certain voices in your life made you feel valued only when you succeeded. Some relationships trained you to fear rejection whenever you failed or struggled emotionally. You became afraid of disappointing people, so you started carrying impossible expectations everywhere you went. Even now, your mind still whispers that you must keep proving yourself constantly, or risk being abandoned, overlooked, or unloved. But come closer now and listen to me carefully. My love for you was never built upon your performance. I do not stay near you only when you succeed. I do not move closer when you appear strong and disappear when you struggle. I know every imperfect part of your heart already, and I have not turned away from you. You spend too much time criticizing yourself for not healing fast enough, not accomplishing enough, not feeling spiritually strong enough, not becoming the version of yourself you imagined by now. Yet while you keep measuring yourself harshly, I continue looking at you with tenderness. I see the effort behind your exhaustion. I see the battles you fight silently. I see how deeply you care, even when fear makes you question your own worth. Stop speaking to yourself like someone who must constantly earn the right to exist peacefully. My beloved, I am inviting you now into a different way of living. Stop striving for love that has already been given freely. Sit with me without trying to impress me. Bring your tired heart honestly instead of hiding your weakness behind endless effort. Let yourself rest emotionally without guilt attached to it. You do not need to become flawless before receiving grace. You do not need to heal perfectly before being worthy of care. Open your heart and receive this truth fully. You are already loved deeply, even here, even now, even while parts of your life still feel unfinished. There are moments when you push yourself so hard emotionally that your soul begins collapsing under expectations I never asked you to carry. Release that pressure. Stop trying to become valuable through constant achievement. Your worth existed long before your accomplishments ever did. Let the truth settle deeply into your spirit. You are not loved because you perform perfectly. You are loved because you are mine. So breathe now. Stop fighting to earn what heaven has already placed gently into your hands. My love is not something you must chase endlessly. It has been surrounding you all along. My child, you often overlook the quiet progress happening in your life because you keep expecting transformation to arrive all at once. You imagine breakthrough like lightning splitting the sky, immediate and dramatic, while many of the deepest changes I create unfold slowly through ordinary moments. Because of that, you sometimes become discouraged when healing feels gradual. You question whether anything is truly changing because your life does not suddenly look completely different overnight. But listen to me carefully now. Do not underestimate the power of small steps taken consistently with trust. I know your heart longs for giant answers. You want clarity quickly. You want peace immediately. You want the heavy things to disappear all at once so you can finally breathe freely again. Yet some healing arrives through smaller movements that seem almost invisible at first. One honest conversation. One healthier decision. One moment of choosing peace instead of panic. One night where your thoughts finally quiet down enough for rest. One day where you speak more gently to yourself than you used to. These moments matter more than you realize. Small shifts create deeper roots than sudden emotional highs that fade quickly. Come closer now and stop despising your own progress simply because it feels slower than expected. You are growing even when the changes seem subtle. Think about how rivers shape stone over time, not through one violent moment, but through steady movement that continues quietly day after day. That is how much of your healing is happening too. Every time you resist returning to old destructive patterns, something inside you strengthens. Every time you choose honesty instead of emotional avoidance, your heart grows healthier. Every time you trust me through uncertainty instead of surrendering completely to fear, your spirit moves forward even if your emotions still feel fragile. My beloved, stop comparing your healing process to dramatic stories you see around you. Some journeys unfold loudly. Others grow silently beneath the surface before becoming visible later. Your path is not failing simply because it is unfolding gradually. In fact, many lasting transformations begin quietly. Trust the smaller moments. Trust the daily choices that slowly rebuild your peace. Trust the uncomfortable conversations that move your healing forward one step at a time. I am inviting you now to release the pressure for instant perfection. Do not abandon the process simply because you are not fully healed yet. Keep walking. Keep choosing healthier thoughts. Keep returning to me when fear rises again. Let the smaller victories matter. Celebrate progress instead of only focusing on how far you still think you need to go. Your future is not built in one giant leap alone. It is shaped through faithful steps taken consistently over time. My child, I see every effort you make, even the ones no one else notices. I see the days when getting through ordinary responsibilities required tremendous emotional strength. I see the moments when you almost gave up but chose to keep moving anyway. Those moments are not insignificant to me. They are shaping your future quietly and steadily. So trust the process unfolding beneath the surface. Small steps still carry you forward, and I promise you they are leading somewhere beautiful. My child, you keep looking at unfinished parts of your life as though they are file endings. You stare at painful chapters and quietly convince yourself that because things did not happen the way you expected, your future must somehow be smaller now. I know there were moments when disappointment hit your heart so deeply that you stop imagining anything beautiful ahead. Certain losses felt permanent. Certain prayers seemed unanswered for so long that hopelessness slowly settled into your thinking. But listen to me carefully now. Your story is still unfolding. You are standing inside a chapter, not at the end of the book. I know the waiting has exhausted you. I know there were nights when you questioned whether anything meaningful was still being prepared for your life. You looked around and saw people moving forward while you felt emotionally stuck between old pain and uncertain hope. Because your progress seemed slower than expected, fear started telling you that maybe this was all your life would ever become. But my beloved, do not confuse a difficult season with a defeated future. Some chapters feel heavy because they are transitional. Some seasons feel lonely because growth is quietly taking place beneath the surface. Come closer now and let me shift the way you see your life. Stop defining your story by the moments that wounded you most deeply. Stop speaking as though heartbreak wrote the final sentence over your future. The pain you experienced shaped parts of your journey, but it did not cancel the plans I still carry for you. There are details unfolding right now that your eyes cannot fully recognize yet. There are connections still approaching your life. There are doors still waiting to open. There are healing conversations, restored joy, unexpected opportunities, and peaceful moments that have not yet arrived. You keep trying to judge your future using only your current emotions. But emotions cannot always see clearly when exhaustion sits heavily on the heart. That is why I need you to trust me beyond what you feel in this moment. Stop telling yourself that it is too late for your life to become beautiful again. Stop assuming your best moments already passed you by. Your story is still moving forward, even during seasons where progress feels invisible. My child, invite hope back into your imagination again. Allow yourself to believe that I am still writing meaningful things into your future. Release the pressure to understand every chapter before it unfolds completely. Some answers only make sense later. Some painful moments reveal their purpose gradually over time. Do not close your heart now simply because the middle of the journey feels uncertain. Keep walking with me. Keep breathing through this season. Keep trusting that what feels unfinished today is not abandoned. There is more ahead for you than what your fear keeps repeating inside your mind. So stop treating your current circumstances like permanent conclusions. Lift your eyes again. Your story is not over. I am still writing it carefully, tenderly, and with far more purpose than you currently realize. My child, as your story continues unfolding, I am also using this message to reach weary hearts across the earth who are standing in unfinished chapters of their own. Every time you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become part of the light guiding someone out of despair and back into hope. I told you in Galatians 6:9, do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest, and I am speaking those words over you even now. Do not underestimate the power of your seed when placed into ground I have appointed for healing and restoration. Some souls are one message away from surrendering completely, yet your generosity helps carry fresh oil, fresh bread, and fresh fire into their darkness. I see every act of obedience, every hidden sacrifice, and every willing heart that chooses to help move my word forward in this hour. I will breathe favor upon those who give with faith, and I will multiply what is released from surrendered hands. So do not delay this divine assignment. Give now through Super Thanks, become a member, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, and help carry my voice to those still waiting for hope. My child, you have delayed parts of your life because you keep waiting for a feeling that may never arrive exactly the way you expect. You tell yourself that one day you will finally feel completely prepared, completely confident, completely healed, completely fearless, and then you will move forward. But while you wait for perfect readiness, opportunities continue passing quietly in front of you. Growth keeps knocking gently at the door of your life while fear keeps convincing you to stay where things feel safer and more familiar. I need you to hear me clearly now. Most people never feel fully ready when it is time to step into something new. I know why hesitation became so strong inside you. You have experienced disappointment before. You have trusted situations that ended painfully. You have made decisions that left scars on your confidence. Because of that, your mind keeps trying to protect you by demanding certainty before movement. You want guarantees that nothing will hurt you again. You want reassurance that every step will succeed perfectly before you risk your heart one more time. But my beloved, if you keep waiting until fear disappears completely, you will spend years standing still while your soul quietly longs for more. Come closer now and listen carefully. Readiness often grows during movement, not before it. Strength develops while you walk, not while you endlessly prepare yourself emotionally from a distance. Think about how many moments in your life already unfolded before you felt fully capable. You survived seasons you once believed would completely destroy you. You handled responsibilities you once thought were beyond your strength. You adapted through situations you never would have chosen willingly. Yet somehow I carried you through them anyway. Stop underestimating the resilience I already placed inside you. There are dreams you keep postponing because fear keeps whispering that you are not enough yet. There are conversations you avoid because vulnerability feels uncomfortable. There are opportunities waiting in front of you while your mind keeps inventing reasons to delay another day, another month, another year. But hear me gently now. You cannot heal fully inside complete emotional hiding. You cannot grow while constantly retreating from every uncertain step. Some doors only open once you decide to move despite trembling hands and unanswered questions. My child, I am inviting you now to trust me beyond your feelings of readiness. Take the next step anyway. Speak honestly anyway. Open the door anyway. Begin the healing process anyway. Stop waiting for a perfect emotional state before you obey the direction I already placed inside your spirit. Courage does not appear because fear vanished completely. Courage grows when you continue walking while trusting I will meet you there. You are far more capable than fear keeps telling you. Stop shrinking your future because you feel uncertain right now. Stop assuming hesitation is wisdom when it is really exhaustion mixed with fear. Breathe deeply. Release the pressure to have every answer first. Then move forward with me, one faithful step at a time. My child, there were seasons in your life that felt painfully empty while you were living through them. You questioned why progress seemed invisible. You wondered why certain prayers remained unanswered for so long. At times you even believed those lonely chapters had no purpose at all. But I need you to understand something now that your heart could not fully see back then. I was preparing you in places where no one else noticed the work taking place. The hidden seasons were never wasted. The quiet chapters were never meaningless. Even when your life appeared still from the outside, deep transformation was unfolding within you. I know the waiting tested your spirit. There were moments when isolation felt heavy and confusing. You watched other people move forward while you sat wrestling with uncertainty, disappointment, and questions you could barely explain. You wanted visible progress. You wanted immediate answers. Instead, you found yourself facing silence, reflection, and uncomfortable growth. But my beloved, some preparation cannot happen in crowded places. Some healing requires hidden seasons where distractions fade and deeper truths begin rising to the surface. Come closer now and think about what those difficult years actually produced inside you. The heartbreak taught you discernment. The delays taught you patience. The loneliness revealed which voices truly mattered in your life. The disappointments forced you to stop building your identity around temporary things. Even the seasons where you felt abandoned pushed you closer to understanding how deeply you need my presence, beyond external success or validation. You did not realize it while you were crying through those nights, but your roots were growing deeper underneath the surface. There were habits I needed to break gently inside you before certain blessings arrive. There were emotional patterns that could not follow you into the next chapter. You kept asking me to change your circumstances while I was quietly changing your heart. I know that process felt slow sometimes. I know there were days when frustration sat heavily on your chest because you could not understand why life seemed delayed. But I was never punishing you through the waiting. I was preparing you carefully for things your soul could not sustain yet. My child, stop speaking about those hidden seasons like they ruined your life. Stop treating every painful chapter like evidence that you were forgotten. Invite yourself into gratitude for the strength that was formed there. Some of the wisdom you now carry could only have been learned through difficult roads. Some of the peace you are beginning to discover was born from surviving storms you once thought would destroy you. Now listen carefully and receive this invitation fully. Do not rush through the current season simply because it feels quiet. Sit with me here. Let me continue shaping your heart without resentment. Trust the unseen preparation taking place. There are things ahead of you that require the deeper strength, maturity, and wisdom these hidden seasons have been building inside you all along. Nothing you endured with me was wasted. I have been preparing you far more intentionally than you currently realize. My child, one of the hardest things for your heart to accept is the possibility that you are still allowed to begin again after everything you have been through. Somewhere along the way, disappointment convinced you that too much damage had already been done. You started believing your mistakes permanently disqualified you from peace, joy, love, purpose, or healing. Some failures stayed in your mind so long that they began shaping the way you see yourself every single day. Even when life continued moving forward around you, part of your spirit remained standing in old moments filled with regret. But listen to me carefully now. You are not trapped forever inside the worst chapter of your story. I know there are things you wish you could undo. There are conversations you replay in your thoughts, decisions you regret, seasons where you lost yourself emotionally, moments where fear, exhaustion, or pain led you somewhere you never intended to go. You carry guilt quietly, even when nobody else notices it. Sometimes you smile outwardly while inwardly punishing yourself over things that already happened years ago. My beloved, I need you to stop living as though grace belongs to everyone except you. Stop acting like your future must remain chained permanently to your past mistakes. Come closer now and let your tired heart hear this clearly. You are still worthy of a new beginning. You are still capable of healing. You are still allowed to hope for a future filled with peace instead of constant shame. I never asked you to become perfect before receiving my love. I never told you to spend the rest of your life trapped inside self-condemnation. Yet you keep carrying emotional chains I have already invited you to lay down long ago. There are moments when your mind returns to old failures so often that you stop recognizing how much growth has already happened inside you since then. You are not the same person who made those mistakes. You have learned. You have suffered. You have grown wiser through painful lessons. Stop introducing yourself to your own soul through outdated guilt. Stop reopening doors that I already closed with mercy. Some chapters need honest reflection, yes, but they do not deserve permanent control over your identity. My child, I am inviting you now to step into a new beginning without shame following closely behind you. Open your hands and release the belief that your life can no longer become beautiful because of what happened before. Let yourself breathe again without carrying constant self-hatred. Forgive yourself where you need to. Receive grace where you have resisted it. Stop speaking hopelessness over your future because of yesterday's failures. You are still being called forward. You are still deeply loved. You are still capable of becoming someone healed, peaceful, wise, and emotionally whole. So stand up again, my beloved. Wipe the dust of old regret from your spirit. Take my hand and move forward with me. Your story did not end where you broke down. There is still life ahead of you, and you are fully allowed to begin again. My child, there have been so many moments when you stood at the edge of change, feeling the invitation to move forward, yet fear quietly pulled you backward before you ever took the step. You told yourself you were being careful, responsible, wise, but underneath all those explanations was a deeper fear you rarely admitted openly. You were terrified of failing again. You were terrified of trying with all your heart only to end up disappointed one more time. So instead of risking pain, you stayed in familiar places that slowly drained your spirit while convincing yourself it was safer there. But listen to me carefully now. The fear of failure has already stolen enough time from your life. I know why this fear became so powerful inside you. Certain experiences wounded your confidence deeply. You trusted plans that collapsed unexpectedly. You believed people who eventually walked away. You stepped out courageously before and still found yourself hurting afterward. Because of those moments, your mind began building emotional walls around possibility itself. You started hesitating before opportunities even had the chance to grow. You questioned your own abilities constantly. You became more focused on avoiding mistakes than on fully living the life waiting in front of you. Come closer now and hear this gently, but honestly. Failure is not the worst thing that could happen to you. Remaining emotionally frozen while your spirit quietly longs for more is far more dangerous. Some of the growth you are praying for cannot happen while you remain hidden behind fear. You keep demanding guarantees before taking steps I already placed inside your heart to take. But certainty is not what transforms a person. Trust does. Courage does. Willingness does. My beloved, stop treating every possible mistake like a catastrophe waiting to destroy your future. You are human. You are learning. You are growing through experiences, not avoiding them entirely. Even the painful moments you regret taught your soul valuable wisdom. They shaped discernment inside you. They revealed strength you never knew existed. You survived things you once believed would completely break you, Yet here you are still breathing, still hoping, still listening for my voice. That alone should remind you that failure never had the final word over your life. I am inviting you now to step forward without demanding perfection from yourself first. Open the door. Apply for the opportunity. Begin the conversation. Start the healing process. Trust the calling inside your spirit instead of allowing fear to control every decision. Do not let past disappointment become a permanent prison around your future. Release the need to protect yourself from every possible outcome before you move. My child, you do not need to know every detail ahead of time in order to obey the direction I am placing before you. Take the next step faithfully and let me meet you there. Some breakthroughs only appear after movement begins. Some answers only arrive once courage opens the first door. Stop standing still while your soul quietly aches for the life waiting beyond your fear. The time for hesitation is ending. Pack your doubts away now and begin walking forward with me. My child, the same courage I am asking you to walk in is the courage I now ask you to release through generosity for my kingdom. Do not let hesitation stop you from becoming part of the harvest I am gathering through these messages. Every super thanks, every membership, and every seed sown through the PayPal link in the description becomes like rivers in dry land, carrying my truth to hearts trapped behind fear and failure. Have I not said in Isaiah 41:10, "Fear not, for I am with you"? Then trust me enough to move when I stir your spirit to give. Some people listening are barely holding on, yet the support you release today helps place hope directly into their trembling hands. This is not merely support for a channel. It is participation in a divine calling unfolding across nations and hidden rooms where wounded souls are crying out for me. I will honor those who refuse to let fear silence their obedience, and I will pour fresh provision upon those who pour into my work. Step forward now without delay. Send your super thanks, join the membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description and become part of the breakthrough I am releasing. My child, one of the reasons you feel restless at times is because you keep trying to force your life into patterns that were never designed for your spirit. You look around at other people and quietly wonder whether you are falling behind because your path looks different from theirs. You compare your journey to their achievements, their timing, their relationships, their successes, and slowly you begin questioning the value of your own direction. But listen to me carefully now. I did not create you to become a copy of someone else's life. Your calling carries a shape, rhythm, and purpose uniquely designed for you. I know the pressure you feel. The world constantly tells you there is only one correct timeline for success, healing, purpose, and happiness. If your life unfolds differently, fear starts whispering that something must be wrong with you. But my beloved, some people are called toward loud seasons while others are called toward quieter ones. Some journeys move quickly while others grow slowly and deeply beneath the surface first. Stop trying to measure your worth by standards that were never assigned to your soul in the first place. Come closer now and pay attention to what brings peace to your spirit instead of only chasing what impresses people around you. There are paths you considered simply because others expected them from you, not because they were truly aligned with who you are becoming. Certain goals looked successful outwardly but left your heart feeling empty inside. That restlessness was not failure. It was your spirit recognizing that external approval cannot replace inner peace. Stop forcing yourself to fit inside lives that were never meant to carry your calling. There are gifts inside you that still need room to grow naturally without comparison suffocating them. Your sensitivity, your wisdom gained through pain, your compassion, your resilience, your ability to understand people deeply after surviving your own storms. These things matter far more than you realize. But you keep overlooking your own growth because you are too busy staring at someone else's journey. Lift your eyes away from comparison and return your focus to the life unfolding directly in front of you. My child, I am inviting you now to stop apologizing for the uniqueness of your path. Release the pressure to become who everyone else expects you to be. Listen carefully to the deeper desires I placed inside your spirit. Some dreams within you were planted there by me long before fear and comparison started drowning them out. Let those desires breathe again. Let your heart become honest about what truly matters to you instead of constantly performing for external approval. You are not late because your life looks different. You are not failing because your journey carries unfamiliar turns. Trust the path I am shaping specifically for you. Walk it faithfully, even if other people do not fully understand it yet. Your calling was never meant to look exactly like anyone else's because your story, your healing, your purpose, and your future were designed with intentional love and care. My child, there are wounds inside you that very few people truly know about. You learned how to speak carefully about your pain because too many times you felt misunderstood when you tried to explain it. Over time, silence became easier. You started carrying certain struggles privately while continuing to function outwardly like everything was fine. You became skilled at hiding exhaustion behind responsibility, hiding sadness behind politeness, hiding loneliness behind strength. But even when nobody else fully sees those hidden places inside your heart, I see them clearly. I know the pain you struggle to put into words. I know the thoughts you keep locked away because you fear they might burden other people or change how they see you. Come closer now and stop carrying those hidden wounds alone. Stop pretending you are unaffected by things that deeply hurt you. I understand why you became guarded. Some people mishandled your vulnerability. Some conversations left you feeling exposed instead of comforted. After enough disappointment, your heart began building private rooms where your pain stayed hidden from the world. But my beloved, healing cannot fully breathe where honesty is never allowed to enter. You do not have to expose yourself recklessly to everyone, but you do need to stop burying your emotions so deeply that even you begin losing touch with them. I know there are moments when your hidden pain suddenly rises unexpectedly. A memory appears. A familiar loneliness returns. An old insecurity whispers again. Sometimes you become frustrated with yourself because you thought you should already be over it by now. But healing is not always linear. Certain wounds require gentleness and patience, not shame. Stop criticizing yourself every time old emotions resurface. Instead, bring those places honestly into my presence. Let me sit with you there instead of immediately trying to escape your feelings through distraction, overthinking, or emotional numbness. My child, I am not afraid of your hidden struggles. I am not disappointed by the parts of yourself you try hardest to conceal. I already know them completely, and I still remain close to you with tenderness. You do not need to perform strength in front of me. Lay down the pressure to appear emotionally perfect. Speak honestly with me about what still hurts. Tell me where your heart still feels fragile. Invite me into the places you usually keep locked away from everyone else. There are hidden areas of your soul I am restoring quietly right now. Some healing is happening beneath the surface before it becomes visible outwardly. That is why I need you to stop abandoning yourself emotionally every time pain returns. Stay present with your healing instead of running from it. Breathe through it. Let yourself feel what needs to be acknowledged without fear controlling the process. My beloved, the wounds you hide are not too broken for restoration. The tears you never explain still matter to me. The silent battles nobody applauded still matter to me. You are not carrying invisible pain alone anymore. I am here in the hidden places with you, patiently healing what your heart could never fully repair by itself. My child, I know there are moments when regret settles heavily over your thoughts and convinces you that too much time has already passed. You look at your life and quietly wonder whether you missed your chance somewhere along the way. Certain dreams remain unfinished. Certain goals took longer than expected. Some relationships ended while you were still trying to understand what happened. Because of that, fear keeps whispering that maybe your story has already fallen too far behind to recover fully. But listen to me carefully now. You are not too late. Your life has not slipped beyond my ability to restore, redirect, and renew. I know you compare yourself to timelines you imagined years ago. You thought by now you would already feel more settled, more healed, more confident, more accomplished, more certain about your direction. When life unfolded differently, disappointment slowly turned into self-judgment. You started measuring your worth by what had not happened yet instead of recognizing how much strength, wisdom, and growth had already been formed inside you through the journey itself. My beloved, stop speaking over your future like someone whose story already ended. You are still here. You are still growing. You are still being guided. Come closer now and release the pressure of imagined deadlines that were never truly mine to begin with. Human fear obsesses over timing constantly, but I do not abandon people simply because their journey unfolds differently than expected. Some lives bloom early. Others deepen slowly through hidden seasons before their purpose becomes visible. Stop assuming delay means disqualification. Stop treating your current season like permanent failure because it does not resemble the timeline you once imagined. There are lessons you learn through waiting that success alone could never have taught you. Your compassion deepened through pain. Your discernment sharpened through disappointment. Your spirit became more resilient through surviving difficult seasons you never planned for. None of that growth was wasted. Even now, while you are worrying about lost time, I am still arranging meaningful things ahead of you with tenderness and intention. My child, invite hope back into your thinking again. Stop introducing yourself to your own mind as someone who is behind in life. You are not racing against everyone around you. You are walking a path uniquely shaped for your soul. Some doors are still waiting to open. Some relationships are still waiting to enter your life. Some healing is not fully unfolded yet simply because the story is still moving forward. I am inviting you now to release regret and step back into trust. Let go of the belief that your best years already passed you by. Stop mourning a future that has not even arrived yet. Breathe deeply and let your heart receive this truth fully. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are not too late for peace, purpose, healing, joy, or love. There is still time ahead of you, and I am still walking beside you into it. My child, one of the reasons your spirit feels so exhausted lately is because you keep carrying emotional baggage that no longer belongs in your next season. Some of it has been with you for years. Old resentment, old guilt, old disappointments, old fears about being hurt again. You have become so used to carrying these things that you hardly notice how heavily they weigh upon your heart anymore. But I notice. I see how your mind grows tired from constantly replaying painful memories. I see how certain wounds still shape the way you approach people, opportunities, and even your future. That weight is affecting you more deeply than you realize. Come closer now and let me ask you something honestly. How much longer do you plan to drag old pain into places where it no longer belongs? You cannot step fully into peace while carrying bitterness tightly against your chest. You cannot receive new joy while constantly expecting old heartbreak to repeat itself. Some of the emotional heaviness you feel is not coming from your present life at all. It is coming from unresolved burdens your soul was never meant to carry this far into the journey. I know forgiveness feels complicated to you sometimes. Certain wounds cut deeply. Some betrayals change the way you trusted people. There are moments when anger feels easier than healing because at least anger gives the illusion of protection. But my beloved, resentment quietly poisons the heart carrying it. The people who hurt you may not even realize how much emotional space they still occupy inside your thoughts, yet you continue reliving those moments over and over again. Stop giving old pain permanent authority over your present peace. This does not mean pretending your wounds never mattered. It does not mean excusing harmful behavior or ignoring the reality of what happened to you. It means releasing the burden of carrying that pain everywhere you go. Forgiveness is not about denying the wound. It is about refusing to let the wound define the rest of your life. Open your hands now and stop gripping tightly to memories that continue draining your spirit every time you revisit them. My child, you were not designed to walk through life emotionally overloaded forever. Learn to travel lighter. Release the pressure to control what already passed. Release the need to replay every painful conversation. Release the belief that staying angry somehow protects your heart from future disappointment. Let your spirit breathe again without carrying old storms inside it constantly. I am inviting you now into freedom that begins quietly through surrender. Sit with me and let the healing process unfold honestly. Tell me where resentment still lives inside you. Tell me where fear still controls your reactions. Bring those heavy places into the light instead of carrying them silently year after year. There is peace waiting beyond the emotional weight you have normalized for too long. But you must choose to loosen your grip on what is no longer meant to travel with you. Your future requires lighter hands, a softer heart, and a soul no longer chained to yesterday's pain. My child, as you learn to travel lighter, do not hold your blessings so tightly that they cannot flow through your hands into the lives of others. I am calling many of my children out of darkness through this mission, and your generosity helps carry healing oil to wounded hearts who feel forgotten and abandoned. Every seed given through Super Thanks membership with a PayPal link in the description becomes part of a greater river of restoration moving across the earth. Did I not declare in Luke 6:38, "Give, and it will be given to you"? I am still breathing life through that promise even now. Some chains are breaking because someone chose to give instead of remain silent while others suffered spiritually alone. When you release what I place in your hands, I release peace, provision, and unexpected favor back into your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. This is a holy invitation to loosen your grip on fear and participate in something eternal that heaven itself is blessing. So obey the stirring in your spirit right now. Give through Super Thanks. Become a member, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, and help carry my healing further. My child, after living in survival mode for so long, peace may feel unfamiliar when it finally begins entering your life again. You have spent years emotionally preparing yourself for disappointment, conflict, instability, and uncertainty. Your mind became trained to expect tension. Even during quiet moments, part of you remained alert, waiting for something painful to happen next. Because of that, calmness sometimes feels uncomfortable now. When life finally slows down, your thoughts almost search for danger automatically because chaos became familiar territory for your nervous heart. I know this struggle deeply. I saw how many seasons forced you into emotional survival. You learned how to stay guarded because vulnerability once led to pain. You became hyper-aware of changes in people's behavior because abandonment caught you off guard before. You developed habits of overthinking because your mind believed constant preparation could somehow prevent future heartbreak. But my beloved, your soul was never created to remain trapped inside constant emotional tension forever. Survival mode helped you endure difficult chapters, but it was never meant to become your permanent home. Come closer now and let yourself notice how quickly fear rises whenever peace begins appearing. Sometimes, when things start going well, you immediately become anxious, waiting for everything to collapse again. You struggle to fully enjoy good moments because part of your heart still expects them to disappear suddenly. Stop living as though peace is temporary by default. Stop treating every calm season like a fragile illusion that will inevitably break apart. Your nervous spirit has been exhausted for far too long. There are moments ahead where healing will feel unfamiliar simply because your mind has spent years adjusting to emotional stress instead of emotional safety. You may feel restless when life becomes quieter. You may question healthy relationships because they do not carry the same emotional chaos you became accustomed to before. You may even struggle to trust peaceful moments because your past trained you to expect instability. But hear me carefully now. Peace is not something to fear. Peace is part of the healing your soul has been longing for all along. My child, I am inviting you now to stop romanticizing emotional chaos simply because it feels familiar. Let yourself adjust to healthier ground. Let your spirit experience calmness without immediately preparing for disaster. Sit quietly with me and allow your heart to learn what safety feels like again. Breathe deeply without carrying constant tension in your chest. Rest without guilt. Smile without secretly waiting for loss to interrupt the moment. You do not need to remain emotionally trapped inside old survival patterns forever. The storm may have shaped certain parts of you, but it does not get to control every future season of your life. Peace is not weakness. Peace is healing unfolding gently inside your spirit. So stop resisting the calmness I am bringing toward you. Open your heart to it slowly. Trust it gradually. Your soul deserves rest after everything it has survived. My child, the next season of your life will ask something from you that fear has tried to delay for a very long time. It will ask you to move forward even while uncertainty still exists. It will ask you to trust me beyond the limits of your comfort zone. I know part of you wishes courage felt easier than this. You thought by now you would feel fully confident before stepping into new territory. But instead, you often find yourself standing at the edge of change with trembling thoughts and a restless heart. Listen to me carefully now. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is your willingness to keep walking even while fear tries to convince you to stay where you are. I know the hesitation you carry. Certain doors in the past led to pain instead of peace. Some opportunities ended in disappointment. Some people gained your trust and then mishandled your heart. Because of those experiences, your spirit became cautious. You started treating emotional safety like your highest priority, even when staying still quietly drained your soul. But my beloved, if you continue choosing only what feels comfortable, you may never fully enter the life waiting on the other side of obedience. Growth always asks something from you. Healing asks something from you. Freedom asks something from you. Come closer now and stop demanding perfect certainty before you move. You keep trying to guarantee outcomes before taking steps that require trust. But there are moments when the only way forward is through surrender. You will not always know every detail ahead of time. Some doors open gradually while you walk through them. Some answers arrive after the first step, not before it. I need you to trust me enough to stop standing frozen at the entrance of your next season while fear continues whispering every possible worst-case scenario into your thoughts. There are opportunities ahead that will stretch you emotionally. There are conversations you need to stop avoiding. There are decisions your heart already knows are necessary even though they feel uncomfortable. Stop retreating every time vulnerability becomes part of the journey. Stop shrinking yourself just because the unknown feels intimidating. Your future cannot fully unfold while fear remains the loudest voice guiding your choices. My child, I am not calling you forward recklessly. I am leading you carefully. I see the entire road while you only see the next few steps. That is why I need you to hold my hand instead of demanding full visibility before movement begins. Let your trust become stronger than your fear. Open the door. Speak honestly. Take the step. Leave behind what no longer aligns with your peace. Walk toward healing even if your heart still trembles. The door ahead of you will require courage, yes, but it also carries freedom your spirit has been longing for quietly. Do not let fear keep you standing outside the very life I have been preparing for you. Move forward with me now. I will meet you in every uncertain step. My child, there have been moments when you quietly question whether your life truly mattered as much as people say it does. Pain has a way of narrowing your vision until you begin measuring your value only through productivity, approval, success, or how useful you feel to others. During difficult seasons, you sometimes look at yourself and wonder if your existence genuinely carries meaning beyond simply surviving another day. I know those thoughts have crossed your mind more than once. I know there were nights when loneliness whispered dangerous lies into your spirit and tried convincing you that you were insignificant, forgotten, or replaceable. But listen to me carefully now. Your life carries eternal value far beyond what your current emotions can fully understand. You are not valuable because of your achievements alone. You are not worthy only when you appear strong, successful, attractive, productive, or emotionally stable. Long before you accomplished anything, long before you prove yourself to anyone, your life already mattered deeply to me. I formed you intentionally. I know the details of your heart that nobody else fully sees. I know the compassion inside you, the resilience inside you, the tenderness you still carry despite everything you survived. Stop reducing your worth to external measurements that constantly shift depending on circumstances and opinions. Come closer now and let this truth settle into your spirit slowly. Your existence is not accidental. Even the parts of your personality you criticize harshly carry purpose when surrendered to healing and wisdom. The sensitivity you once viewed as weakness allows you to understand pain deeply. The struggles you survived created compassion in you that cannot be manufactured artificially. The quiet endurance you developed through difficult seasons will one day strengthen others more than you realize. There are people whose lives will be touched simply because you kept going when giving up felt easier. My beloved, stop speaking about yourself like someone heaven barely notices. Stop treating your life like it has no deeper purpose simply because you cannot currently see the full picture. You are part of a story far greater than temporary pain, temporary confusion, or temporary disappointment. There are moments ahead where your presence will matter profoundly to someone else's healing, hope, or survival. Do not underestimate the significance of your journey simply because it has included suffering. I am inviting you now to see yourself differently. Lift your eyes beyond self-condemnation. Stop introducing yourself to your own thoughts through failure and fear. Begin recognizing the sacred value woven into your existence. Take care of your heart. Protect your peace. Speak gently to yourself. You cannot continue treating your soul carelessly while expecting your spirit to flourish. My child, your life matters deeply, even during seasons where your emotions struggle to believe it fully. There is purpose attached to your breath, your healing, your growth, your voice, and your continued presence here. So stop carrying hopelessness like it tells the truth about you. It does not. You are loved more deeply than you realize, and your life carries meaning that stretches far beyond this present moment. My child, one of the reasons your progress feels emotionally exhausting at times is because every time you begin moving forward, part of your heart keeps turning backward to revisit what already ended. You take a few steps toward healing, then suddenly old memories pull at your emotions again. You begin opening your heart to hope, then fear reminds you of previous disappointments. You start embracing peace, then your mind drifts back toward people, seasons, and wounds that no longer belong to your future. I need you to understand something gently but honestly now. You cannot fully enter a new season while remaining emotionally anchored to old ones. I know why you keep looking back. Some chapters ended before your heart felt ready. Some goodbyes still lay quietly inside you. Certain memories hold emotional weight because they represented dreams you once believed would last forever. There are moments when nostalgia makes old pain appear softer than it truly was. You remember the comfort while forgetting the confusion. You remember the closeness while overlooking the exhaustion. But my beloved, stop romanticizing places where your soul slowly lost its peace. Stop convincing yourself that returning emotionally to old seasons will somehow heal what only surrender can restore. Come closer now, and let yourself grieve honestly without becoming trapped there permanently. Grief is human. Missing certain people or moments does not make you weak. But there is a difference between honoring the past and building your emotional home inside it. Some chapters were meant to teach you, shape you, and then release you into something new. Yet you keep reopening doors I already asked you to walk away from because part of you still fears the unfamiliar future ahead more than the familiar pain behind you. Your heart cannot carry both constant backward longing and forward trust at the same time. One of them will eventually shape your direction. That is why I need you to stop feeding emotional attachments that keep pulling your spirit away from healing. Stop replaying conversations that only reopen wounds. Stop revisiting memories in ways that prevent your heart from accepting where life is now. You do not need to erase your past, but you do need to stop living emotionally inside it. My child, I am inviting you now to release what no longer belongs in your hands. Bless the past if you must, learn from it if you need to, but stop dragging it into every new chapter of your life. Lift your eyes toward what is still ahead of you. There are peaceful places your spirit has not reached yet. There are relationships, opportunities, and healing moments waiting for you beyond this constant backward pull. Walk forward with me fully now. Let your heart remain present in the season unfolding before you instead of mourning old versions of your life endlessly. You are not betraying your past by moving on. You are honoring the growth I have been creating inside you all along. Trust me enough to stop turning around every time progress begins. The future I prepared for you requires your attention, your faith, and your willingness to keep walking forward. My child, just as I am calling you to stop looking backward, I am also calling you to step boldly into the work I am doing through these messages right now. Do not remain on the sidelines while souls are searching for light in seasons of confusion, grief, and spiritual exhaustion. Every act of support through super thanks, membership, where the PayPal link in the description becomes a torch carried into places where hopelessness once ruled. I told you in Isaiah 43:19, "Behold, I am doing a new thing, and this mission is part of that unfolding work across hearts that are desperate to hear my voice again." The enemy wants people trapped in yesterday's pain, but your giving helps break chains and opens doors for healing conversations, restored faith, and renewed purpose. Those who sow into my kingdom with willing hearts will not be forgotten before me, for I am the God who multiplies seeds into harvests and faith into overflowing provision. Do not ignore the urgency you feel stirring inside you at this moment, because this is more than emotion. It is invitation. Act now. Send your super thanks, join the membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, and move forward with me in this assignment. My child, I know there are moments when you feel pressure rising inside your chest because you think you should already be further along by now. You look at your healing, your purpose, your progress, and quietly criticize yourself for not moving faster. Sometimes you even mistake my invitation to grow as condemnation, as though I am standing over your life disappointed with how slowly things are unfolding. But listen to me carefully now. I am not rushing you. I am not demanding perfection from you overnight. I am not measuring your worth by speed. Yet at the same time, I am still calling you forward because you were never meant to remain emotionally stuck in fear forever. There is a difference between pressure and invitation, and I need you to recognize the difference clearly. Pressure suffocates. Pressure shames. Pressure tells you that if you are not changing fast enough, you are failing completely. But my voice does not speak to your heart that way. I call you gently. I guide you patiently. Even when I challenge you, I do it with tenderness because I understand how much your soul has already carried. I know healing takes time. I know trust rebuilds slowly after pain. I know some wounds require patience instead of force. Come closer now and release the exhausting pressure you keep placing on yourself constantly. Stop demanding instant transformation from a heart that is still recovering from years of survival mode. Stop treating yourself harshly every time progress feels slower than expected. Healing is not a competition. Growth is not a race. Some days your courage will feel strong. Other days your spirit may feel fragile again. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. At the same time, my beloved, do not confuse patience with emotional avoidance. Do not remain stuck simply because movement feels uncomfortable. There are places I am inviting you toward now that require trust, honesty, and courage from you. You already feel it quietly inside your spirit. Certain habits need to change. Certain wills need to be confronted honestly. Certain doors need to be opened even though uncertainty still exists beside them. I am not forcing you through those doors violently, but I am asking you lovingly to stop standing still forever. My child, walk with me at a healthy pace, not a fearful pace. Breathe deeply and stop panicking about your timeline. And take the next step anyway. Speak honestly anyway. Begin healing anyway. Let yourself grow gradually without demanding perfection before movement begins. I will not abandon you during the process. I will not shame you for trembling through unfamiliar seasons. You are not being dragged forward against your will. You are being invited into freedom, peace, healing, and deeper life. So stop hiding from the invitation because change feels intimidating. Open your heart again. Trust my gentleness. Trust my timing. And keep moving with me one faithful step at a time. My child, the next season I am leading you into will not be sustained by hardness, emotional walls, or constant self-protection. I know your heart learned to become guarded because pain taught you caution. Certain disappointments changed the way you trust people. Certain betrayals made vulnerability feel dangerous. Over time, your spirit slowly began convincing itself that staying emotionally distant was safer than risking hurt again. But listen to me carefully now. A hardened heart may survive temporarily, but it cannot fully experience the peace, connection, and healing I want to bring into your life. I understand why softness feels risky to you. You have seen what happens when people mishandle tenderness. You have felt the sting of giving your heart honestly and watching it return wounded. Because of that, part of you began treating emotional numbness like strength. You became more careful with your words, your trust, your hopes, even your joy. But my beloved, I never created you to live disconnected from your own heart. Real strength is not becoming cold. Real strength is remaining open to love, wisdom, compassion, and peace without allowing fear to dominate your spirit completely. Come closer now and let me gently show you the difference between wisdom and emotional shutdown. Wisdom protects your peace without imprisoning your heart. Wisdom discerns carefully without becoming cynical about everyone around you. But emotional hardness slowly steals tenderness from your soul until even safe places begin feeling difficult to trust. You start expecting disappointment before connection even has a chance to grow. You begin treating vulnerability like weakness instead of recognizing it as part of genuine healing. The future ahead of you will require softness because there are relationships, conversations, and healing moments that cannot fully bloom inside a closed spirit. There are peaceful connections waiting for you, but you must stop assuming every person will repeat the wounds of your past. There are moments of joy ahead that fear keeps trying to block by convincing you to remain emotionally guarded at all times. Open your heart carefully again. Let yourself feel hope without immediately preparing for heartbreak. My child, I am inviting you now to release the armor you were never meant to wear forever. Stop speaking harshly to yourself. Stop assuming gentleness makes you weak. Sit with me quietly and let your spirit soften in my presence again. Allow compassion to return where bitterness once settled. Allow trust to grow slowly where fear once dominated your thoughts. Your healing does not require becoming emotionally unreachable. It requires becoming emotionally whole. You do not need to carry constant emotional tension into your next season. Lay it down. Breathe deeply. Let your spirit rest in the safety of my love again. The world may have taught you to survive through hardness, but I am teaching you how to live through peace. The softer heart I am developing inside you will not weaken your future. It will strengthen it in ways fear never could. My child, long before you recognize this moment in your life, I was already preparing the road ahead of you with care you cannot fully see yet. While you worried, questioned, waited, and wrestled with uncertainty, I remained at work beyond the limits of your understanding. Nothing about your future is unfolding randomly. The conversations ahead, the healing ahead, the opportunities ahead, the relationships ahead, even the protection surrounding you right now, all of it is being arranged with intention. You may feel uncertain standing where you are today, but I need you to understand that I am not uncertain about where I am leading you. I know there were seasons when your life felt directionless. You prayed for signs. You searched desperately for clarity. You wondered whether you had somehow wandered too far from purpose. But my beloved, even during the quietest seasons, I was still guiding things beneath the surface. Some delays protected you from paths that would have exhausted your spirit further. Some closed doors redirected you toward healthier ground. Some painful endings created space for future blessings your heart could not yet imagine. Come closer now and stop assuming that because you cannot see the entire picture, nothing meaningful is happening. There are details moving quietly around your life that your eyes cannot fully recognize yet. There are people I am preparing to cross your path at the right time. There are lessons your spirit needed before certain opportunities could safely arrive. There are healing moments still unfolding within you that will strengthen your ability to carry the future without collapsing under its weight. You keep trying to predict the future through the lens of past pain, but I need you to trust me beyond what fear keeps repeating. Your past experiences are not the blueprint for everything ahead. I am capable of creating peace where you expected chaos, restoration where you expected loss, and clarity where confusion once dominated your thoughts. Stop speaking over your future like someone abandoned by heaven. You are being guided far more carefully than you realize. My child, I am inviting you now to release the exhausting need to control every outcome before it arrives. Sit with me and trust instead of panic. Open your hands emotionally and stop gripping tightly to fear. You do not need to force every door open yourself. You do not need to carry the entire weight of your future alone. The road ahead has already been touched by my presence before your feet ever arrive there. Walk forward now with expectation instead of dread. Let hope return to your spirit gradually. Stop assuming your story only contains more disappointment. There are moments ahead prepared specifically for your healing, growth, and peace. Here are answers still unfolding. Here are blessings approaching quietly. Here are breakthroughs forming beneath the surface even now. Heaven has not abandoned your journey halfway through. I have been preparing the road ahead all along, and when the right moment arrives, you will look back and realize I was guiding far more than you understood at the time. My child, you have stood at the edge of this new season long enough. For so much of your life, you carried burdens that slowly convinced your heart to expect limitation instead of freedom. You survived painful chapters by becoming cautious, guarded, and emotionally tired. You learned how to endure disappointment quietly while still showing up for everyone around you. But now I need you to hear me clearly. The season of remaining spiritually and emotionally stuck is coming to an end. I am calling you forward. Pack your bags and come with me. Do not carry everything from the past into the future I am preparing for you. Some fears must stay behind. Some regrets must stay behind. Some identities built around survival must stay behind. You cannot walk fully into peace while dragging constant shame, bitterness, and hopelessness beside you. I know releasing those things feels unfamiliar because you carried them for so long that they almost became part of how you see yourself. But my beloved, you were never meant to build your permanent home inside pain. You were meant to grow beyond it. Come closer now and breathe deeply for a moment. Look at how far you have already come. You survived nights that once convinced you life would never feel light again. You endured heartbreaks that tried to harden your spirit permanently. You carried questions that remained unanswered for seasons longer than you expected. Yet through all of it, you are still here. Your heart still longs for healing. Your spirit still reaches toward hope, even if cautiously sometimes. That desire inside you matters more than you realize. It is proof that fear never fully destroyed the deeper life I placed within you. Now stop standing still at the doorway of your future while constantly looking backward. Stop delaying your healing because the unknown feels uncomfortable. Stop convincing yourself that emotional exhaustion is safer than trust. I have not brought you this far just to leave you wandering without direction. I am already standing ahead of you, preparing places your feet have not touched yet. There is peace waiting for you beyond this season of heaviness. There is clarity waiting beyond confusion. There is rest waiting beyond survival mode. But you must be willing to move. My child, open your hands and surrender what no longer belongs to your next chapter. Lay down the weight. Release the fear. Forgive where you need to forgive. Let old pain loosen its grip on your spirit. Stop speaking hopelessness over a future I am still carefully unfolding. Trust me enough to believe that beautiful things can still happen to you. Trust me enough to walk forward even while some questions remain unanswered. Pack your bags now. Leave behind the emotional chains that kept your soul small for too long. Step out of the old season with courage, even if your heart still trembles a little. I will not abandon you in unfamiliar territory. I will walk beside you through every uncertain step ahead. You are not walking toward emptiness. You are walking toward the life your spirit have quietly been longing for all along. So come forward with me now, my beloved. The journey is changing, and heaven is calling you onward. My child, as I call you forward into a new season, I am also calling you to help carry others who are still trapped in darkness, fear, and hopelessness. This message is reaching souls who feel emotionally stranded, and your support through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description helps extend my voice into places human eyes may never fully see. Every seed you release becomes like bread multiplied in my hands, feeding weary hearts and reigniting faith in those who nearly gave up. Did I not promise in Malachi 3:10 that I would open the windows of heaven and pour out blessing beyond measure? Then trust me now as I invite you into this holy act of obedience. Heaven is moving urgently in this hour, and those who partner with my work will see doors open, burdens lifted, and fresh peace settle over their homes. I am preparing a harvest larger than you realize, but harvest requires willing sowers who will move when I speak. So pack your doubts away and act now. Send your super thanks, become a member, or sow through the PayPal link in the description and walk forward with me into the greater work ahead. My child, there are people around you carrying silent battles very similar to the ones I have spoken to in your heart today. If this message brought peace, clarity, or strength to your spirit, let it become light for someone else too. Share this with at least 3 people you care about, because sometimes one gentle reminder of my love can help a weary heart begin moving forward again. My child, this is not the season to remain standing at the edge of your future while fear keeps calling you backward. I am calling you forward now, into healing, into peace, into the life your soul has been longing for. If you receive this message deep in your spirit, then go into the comments and declare, I am packing my bags and moving forward with God. Let those words become your step of faith today, because heaven is already preparing the road ahead for you. My beloved, you are not carrying these battles alone anymore. If this message awakens something inside your spirit, subscribe and remain connected to the words I am releasing over your life, because I am leading you out of fear and into the future I prepared for you long ago. Amen.